Oh, just to tickle your fancy, guess who got their own character tokens? Um, uh,
Is it people that aren't us?
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, wait, who? Wait a minute. Who are these people?
So Genevieve
These
is
the
the one who.
wizards?
No, the Genevieve is the one that interviews you guys for your heads ups,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
and and the
Cool.
Foppy guy is the guy that Carlos plays, and I gave him a name.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, I gotta get that. Hold on a second.
He's
Pavrian.
Ilianustras.
Ooh.
Fopavrian, if you please. I mean, he's not
If
just
you're
some
nasty.
fop, you know. Fopavrian.
Oh, I like that one. Very nice.
I figure Carlos would appreciate being Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Fucking quick time.
So let's fighting, all the time fighting. Perhaps we should redo the initiative order. You guys had a moment to settle in before this giant horrible monster popped out. And
You say he's giant and horrible. I mean, we're jumping to conclusions. We really don't know that much about Frederick.
well, he is Frederick the Fomorian. So
The Fomorian? Oh, nailed it.
Morian?
Well, he's a shadow Fomorian, to be specific.
Oh man.
We're not. I mean,
Very
very specific.
So am I? Should I be recording this?
I started just to get it there.
Yeah,
I went
just
ahead and
just
started.
Okay, cool.
yeah, just go ahead and start. It's like, start
So-
as we're getting rolling. You just start recording, and then after we're done, you just turn it off, and I can cut off whatever ends.
So
There
I'm
are.
gonna do one of those clappy slates. So
Can I make a suggestion real quick for everybody? Make sure that you change your input. If you're using an external mic like I'm using, make sure you change your input on Discord and on your Mac also. So you're changing your input 3 different places.
okay.
All right. Well,
I
as
really have 53 health. Yes.
yeah, you guys got some decent healing going. It's just that you're low on resources, spells wise. And so yeah,
That's right. I blew all my spell slots thunderstepping around. That's right.
Oh yeah, use that like 4 or 5 times.
I used it like. I think I used it like 3 times.
So go ahead and roll initiative if you're in roll 20, and we'll get this rolling.
Dope. Yeah. Lightning fast out of the gate.
Yeah, you guys couldn't pick up anything that I was doing when I had that clicked that way.
Gwen is staying at as 11.
No, hold on.
7.
Where's my character sheet?
Is Rami Rami put purpose Rami?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a bad guy. We're gonna eat him. We're gonna eat
Rami.
him, guys.
Rami, I love it.
All right. Duria's sheet here. There we go. Oh. Way to go, Duria. And then, so we're going to sort. And Rami goes when Gwen goes. And Freddy the Shadow Fomorian, he's your new best bud.
So he just emerged out of one of these portals, right?
He emerged out of the same portal that Gwen emerged from.
So is he with you? Is he with you? Please tell me he's with you.
I was in there for a while, but no, I didn't. I don't know this guy. I don't know whose man this is.
Wait, who's Rami then?
Rami is Gwen's pal.
I mean, it's my little Drake, my little pet.
Oh man.
It's like a dog dragon.
Yeah, Sam
Oh,
wasn't here for that. was
I'm
he?
sorry that I tried to eat him. I thought we were fighting that thing. I guess we're fighting Freddy the Shadow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That big shadowy motherfucker in the corner.
Shadow Freddy.
Yeah, so he is this giant, 20-foot tall, hideous, deformed, bipedal giant creature. And he's, all dark and infused with shadow energy swirling around him. And he does not look like he is messing around because he says, I will destroy all of you. To himself, not to you.
Does he have a voice effect in his head?
He just goes, "I'm not messing around."
He's very
Did
monotone.
I say that out loud? Damn it, I did it again.
He's like,
All will bow before me.
Ooh,
Like
Crack Sizzle likes the sound of that.
Point of inspiration to the DM for
it was that bad, huh? Was that bad?
Who has the horn? That's really good.
I do.
that reminds me. I sent something to Carlos. It's this parrot that is like has a billion different like sounds it can mimic, and I was like, "Hey, it's Sam." So I'm gonna send that to the Discord chat because
Please
Carlos.
do.
Okay, so
All right.
the
So, Frederick.
Shadow Freddy here. Let's see. So where can he move? So then it's going to be. All right. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. As he has to kind of squeeze through here. 5, 6. So looks like he can kind of pop there, and he. Oh, please tell me he can reach someone. That would be amazing. No, he can't. Okay.
Little stubby armed mother. It's so cute.
Duria, well, we'll give Duria the benefit of the doubt because she's kind of like down a ledge. So I guess it's not quite clobbering time yet.
She's also kind of short, so she can't necessarily see what's happening. She's like the neighbor in Home Improvement. You just see like the top of her head.
Wilson.
What's going on, guys?
So just as a point of role playing / how we want to play this, as the Shadow Fomorian is emerging and walking towards you, is Gwen / Ruben? I'm guessing like the two of you are. Is anyone particularly challenging him, or are you guys just sort of watching this in horror?
Oh
Because-
no, Ruben totally turned to Gwen and was like, "Is he with you?" That was like legit. Like he wants to make sure before he starts murdering things.
No, I don't. I don't know this guy.
All right then,
All right. So I guess I
it's
will.
murdering time.
I will determine it randomly then.
Fair enough.
Hey, there we go. Okay, so Gwen, make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. Come on, man.
Oh, Grandma.
Okay. Well, so the creature, Freddy the Shadow Fomorian, he bears down on you, and in his eyes, like you're kind of shaken to think of like all that time that you lost in the Shadowfell, and all of a sudden, like you're kind of right back there as the shadow swirls up around you as he gives you the shadow eye.
Oh, Ruben shivers a little bit. He feels it. Ugh.
Bum bum bum.
Okay,
Oh,
so you take 9 damage,
All right.
necrotic.
Okay.
And the Shadow Fomorian, he just sort of reaches out his arm and beckons you to bring it. Gwen's turn.
All right. Well,
It's like, come at me, bro.
Gwen.
Come at me, bro.
Gwen is going to. One moment. Hold.
I got Final Fantasy battle music in my head. That's what it feels like, at least.
Mm.
All right. So I'm going to place my Hexblade's Curse on him with my bonus action.
Is that you just like waving a hand and then like a thing pops up over him, or like how does that look?
It is. He's already pretty shadowy, but
Mhm.
kind of from out of thin air, these like shadowy tendrils just come around and like wrap around his already shadowy physique,
Mm.
and just
Love it.
sort of constrict, and he's gonna get fucked up. Not in like a party way.
I'm gonna say it's a legitimate strategy. Us pirates will just get other pirates fucked up instead of fighting.
How do you? What I'm gonna do is give him a little bit of the longsword.
Give
Give
him the
him one of
juice.
those.
Dang.
Oh, that's some juice right there. That's a hit.
All right. What's my Eldritch? All right. Well, I'm going to tack a Eldritch Smite onto that after I hit. So that's 10, and then
So that's your longsword damage, right?
yep, that's my longsword damage. And then on top of that goes my 4th level Eldritch Smite.
Okay, so that's 31 damage.
Not done yet. I have an extra attack now, so I'm going to hit one more time.
Ruben just sits down.
And yes.
Womp, womp, womp. Okay. And it is Rami's turn. Rami the Ram.
Is it Rami or Rami? How are we?
Rami.
Ooh, actually, that
Rami.
does an additional 3 damage because I add my proficiency bonus to my damage. So 34 damage.
Got it. Oh, it's Rami because it's pastrami, right?
Got it.
That's right. Yep, Rami. Rami is gonna. Let's see, what do you want to do, boy? He's gonna move right there. Give him the bite. And miss.
Oh.
Any consequences to that before I roll a second attack?
Rami's he's a scrambler. He's a fighter.
He bites his own tail.
He's a choker.
Yeah, Rami just kind of slips and slides around, and as the Shadow Fomorian, seems to be a little bit ethereal when it comes to trying to hit him.
Ruben's
And then
like,
it
look
is-
at it, he's so excited. It's so cute.
So Duria, I don't know exactly how many spell slots she has left. Not
I
many.
assume she has all of them.
So I guess she's gonna, kind of pop around the corner there, and so that she can see, and cast Sacred Flame. It's just there's not an attack, which is the one that she always misses.
All
Guiding
of them,
bolt?
Guiding
all
bolt?
the time.
Guiding bolt, I think. Yeah.
Okay, Dex saving throw for the Fomorian. Okay.
Like
Yeah,
it.
get those good rolls out of the way. Get out of here.
Yeah, while we're in
Alright.
combat, you should get him out of the way.
Okay, well, I guess he takes no damage because. All right. So Duria, sends a holy flame down from the above you, and you see Freddy the Shadow Fomorian. He flinches, but ultimately he gets out of the way of it. That is Duria. It's Ruben's turn.
So, are we currently blessed? Is that what that symbol means?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we were blessed.
So, are we attacking with advantage at that point, or is it just for saves and things?
I think it just
Saves is
adds
for
to
attack.
save.
Saves.
Okie. So, first things first. We'll select the right thing. That's what I'll do first. So I'll move up here. Yeah, I'll move there first, and then I'll swipe with my adamant rapier.
I'm just trying to find what Bless does. That's a hit.
Sensational. Have at you, Shadow.
So you're getting, whenever you make an attack roll or a saving throw, you're getting an extra D4 to the result.
Oh, okay. So do I even need to roll that though?
Not for this,
Okay.
because you hit.
You actually critted there because of my Hexblade Curse.
Yeah.
Sensational.
Does
So I stabbed him real good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's does that affects them too?
It does any attack roll. Oh wait, any attack roll you make again. Never mind. Sorry, just kidding.
Oh man, quit robbing me
Yeah,
of my
no,
glory.
I thought it was. I could have sworn it was any.
All right, so I hit with that for 9. Is it just straight up? Do I notice anything, or is it a pretty solid hit?
Solid hit, but he is not phased.
And then I'm gonna try stabbing him with Freebooter.
What'd you roll? An 18?
That's one away from what I needed. It would have critted with a 19.
Oh, well, yeah, it has to be natural. Okay, all right, so that's a hit.
All right, cool. And then I'm gonna use since I successfully meleeed, I'm able to continue movement. I'm also gonna trigger my dash move.
Okay.
To just gonna go over here. What? Oh, that's why. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna pop back out near the fire, which I assume is still roaring. So I'm looking pretty cool.
Yes, the campfire is still going, as well as the black inky shadow flames of the two braziers, in which you Destiny style dunked those crystals in.
Do we need to still be dunking?
Well, I mean, always be Duncan is the general rule. 7 Roots' turn.
You need to roll damage on Freebooter.
That's right.
Okay, so that's 6 damage.
Pow pow.
Pow 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 pow.
Wait, what's Freebooter? Is that your dagger's name?
Yeah, I named it Freebooter.
Okay.
All right. I'll take a shot at Shadow Fred.
Oh,
Ooh, that's so close to a 20.
it really was. But that's a hit.
Wait, aren't you blessed?
But
That's
yeah,
still
you have
hits,
to get a
though.
natural 20.
Yeah, it was just 14 anyway. Alright. Damage, and then I'll add Colossus Slayer to that.
You guys are so good at killing big things.
Yeah.
That's what Carlos and I realized when we made this encounter was a billion little things you guys suck at, and then but the one big thing you can really dish the damage.
Yep.
And you have a second attack, don't you, Brian?
Yeah, rolling. Alright.
Oof, 12 damage. That is brutal. All right, then it is Crack Sizzle.
All right, Crack Sizzle back in the game. Gonna sprint over here, right next to Pastrami. Because he gets interested in this dragon, because it's the first time I met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Have you thought about what the temperament of Rami is, Brian?
Well, I actually have. I want to float an idea, and I wanted to get you and Carlos's thoughts on it. But we can talk about that once we're out of combat.
Right.
He's I don't know, kind of.
Is he
crotchety.
hardcore? Hardcore, or is he friendly?
He's friendly. Yeah,
Ruben made a connection. He had him pick up that stone and ran away like Lassie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Sorry, Sam. Carry on.
All right. I'm gonna hit him with the tenderizer. Woo!
Oh,
Yeah.
I hit him with the tenderizer? All right.
That is a critical, sir.
And so, boom. Woo!
Okay, so that's 10, 15
so-
is 25 damage.
I'm just gonna unload on him. So I'm gonna use my extra attack with I think I can do with the weapons, right? Yeah, I can do extra.
Oh, yes, you can.
Damn.
Assuming that hits too.
Yes, it does.
All right.
So that's 11 damage. And so he needs to make 2 con saves for bleeding.
I don't have bleeding on the tenderizer.
Oh, I'm thinking of the other thing. Never mind.
The marbler doesn't. The marbler has bleeding.
And
Tenderizer
yes,
has thunder damage.
thunder damage. That's right. Sorry, my bad. I was getting them. I'm not used to the 2 different weapons yet. So you guys have seriously dished a lot of damage in this first round. Do you have any other
How's he looking?
actions, Sam?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and spend a key point to. Assuming a key point is my F4. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
he
spend a
looks bloodied. He's wisping out shadow juices.
So I'm gonna spend a key point to use Death Strike.
Okay.
Yeah, pull it up. And then, so I roll my martial arts die, which is a D8. One. All right.
Call.
I just started using this hammer, guys. It's not that. I don't have the touch on it yet.
Okay. All right, Freddy is highly displeased. Okay. And so Freddy is going to so first he's going to attack Gwen, who dealt a pretty solid amount of damage to him, and I think miss with a 17.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then he's going to try and take a swipe at Ruben, who swung around him. 28. So his club has 15-foot reach.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Christ.
I would have moved much further back.
You underestimate just how humongous this guy is.
Yeah.
So he does 11 bludgeoning damage to Ruben.
I'll take 5 of that.
All right. So you see him reach out towards one of the crystals and all right, so the crystal kind of bursts with there we go. Death. There we go. Shadowy death. So a wave of necrotic energy spills out around it. You see him sort of soak up that energy and be healed a little bit. So Crack-Sizzle and Gwen and Rami can make a dex saving throw to not take necrotic damage.
Oh, I'm definitely getting
Nice.
Ooh. Pastrami.
Okay. So, all right. So I think Crack-Sizzle has evasion, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so he doesn't take any damage. Gwen just takes 3, and Pastrami takes 6 damage.
Okay.
All right, and then it is the end of his turn. It's Gwen's turn.
All right. What is gonna do here? Yeah, I'll just go in for another longsword attack. And miss.
Yep, miss.
And then use my bonus action to
Pretend like you didn't whiff to like play it off like you meant to do it.
Like, oh no, yeah, here you go. Take one of these. Put a hex on him. And then I'll do another longsword. See if I can hit with that one. 18?
That is a hit. Aren't you already cursing him?
They're two different things.
And curse does not take concentration, is that right?
Doesn't, no. It just is. And then it does an additional d6 with the hex. Oops. So 10.
Okay. So you see so you slash into him with your longsword, and you see him breathe in the necrotic damage and be vitalized.
Oh shit. That's right.
You idiot! Mr. Reuben shout.
I'm assuming you would like to end the spell?
I would like to drop my concentration.
You did naturally by being an idiot.
Rami.
Rami's gonna bite.
That's a hit.
Okay. And that. So he's gonna bite and then scramble up and give him a tail slap and miss.
And miss. Okay. Duria, she's going to try, since she doesn't have many spell slots left, she's going to try that Sacred Flame again because does radiant damage if she can actually, hit. Okay. It's a Dex saving throw? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that he makes that save. Yeah. Okay, well, Shadow Fomorian, they don't call him Freddy for nothing. All right, next is Ruben.
Okay, I'm gonna snap at him again with my sword. Gonna miss.
You are gonna miss.
And then I'm gonna try again with Freebooter.
Oh, actually, roll a d4. Here, I'll do it.
Did I do it?
So 12 plus 2 is a hit.
Because
you're blessed?
And it's also a crit.
That's what I was asking.
with
I
Freebooter.
thought that was why you wanted me to do the D4.
Now, your first attack gets plus 1d4 from bless.
So the first one was a hit and the second one was a hit, and the second
Correct.
one's a crit.
And the second
Okay.
one is a crit. All right, so
first this guy. So it does that, and then Freebooter. So do I do? Let me look at his thing.
So roll a d6.
Roll a d6 like a d6. 1d6. I don't think anything happens. I think it's just normal crit, right?
Yep, nothing happens. So just normal crit.
All right, that's a bummer, but it's possible, guys, if you believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, do I roll again for Freebooter?
Yeah. So you do an additional. So 10 damage.
And then I will use that successful attack to back further away. Use disengage to do that.
Right
Or
on.
dash. I'm going to dash over.
7
Get some! Get some!
Whoa.
It must be time for more drinks.
Yes, sorry.
That was the enemy. That was the sound of my sword cleaving through shadow.
Should we get drinks now, or should we finish fighting?
Let's finish fighting.
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
The name of Gwyn's sword is called the Big Gulp. And
It's the Polar Pop, actually.
Sorry, Bryant, go ahead.
Okay. Take it, Shadow Fred. No.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Okay.
So, Ruben, make a Dex saving throw. You're pretty good at those.
I'm pretty okay at those. We'll see.
Yeah. So Seven's arrow whizzes by your head, but you duck in time for it to just pass by you, and you give him the eye.
Yeah, you can see me gesticulating. I'm pissed.
7 gives you a thumbs up.
You just hear, that's not what that means.
Why don't you make your
I'll
second
try my
attack?
second attack.
There you go.
That's more like it. All right.
And I think you get Colossus Slayer, right?
Colossus.
All right, so that's 18. All right, he is not looking too hot. Now, still lots of wispy shadow energy going on here. Correct sizzle.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go ahead and dish it out.
Take me home tonight.
Take me home. All right, so he raises his hammer, winks at the pastrami,
Mhm.
just because he's weird.
He fits in quite well.
Miss, so it's probably miss.
Well, roll D4. Let's see. That's it.
How?
You're
With
blessed.
your blessing, you got +2 to your.
Oh, okay, awesome. Then all right, I'll go with that. So
9 damage. And
Okay,
for your
and then
next
I'm gonna-
trick.
I'm gonna use just another swipe with the old hammer.
Oh yeah.
Sick.
That was a feisty blow.
Yeah, he got his. He feels really blessed, and feeling blessed is half the battle.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed. Okay.
He carves a hashtag into Fred's skin.
Okay. So for that, after that arrow pierced him so forcefully, Freddy gazes at Seven Roots. Make a Constitution saving throw as the shadows course through you.
Oof.
Well, that's irrelevant. All right, so you take half damage. So you take
9.
9 damage. All right. And yeah, the sticky black tendrils of the Shadow Realm. You just can't get the feeling off you. It's super disgusting. All right, so he's going to try to hit Gwen. Come on. All right, and he is done.
Ruben's just like, yeah, you are. You can't hit me over here.
All right, so
And not even a D4 can
no,
save you there.
Yeah. Okay. And another one.
Standing right there.
No, all
That's a
right.
crit.
That's a critical.
Cricola.
Come on, man. And I guess I can just roll that. +3 for the hex. Oh, the hex not on there. Never mind. Just kidding.
Yeah, the hex is gone. Unless you want to heal him. That's Rami now.
Yes. Ronnie's going
Come on,
to
Pup.
bite. Well, Pup going to bite.
Oh yeah.
Nom 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 nom.
Gonna take a bite out of crime.
And another.
All right, so
Smash
that's
for 17.
17 damage. All right. Freddy's on his last legs. He's gushing out shadow energy from all the various gaping wounds you've left him, and he seems just about ready to fade back into the realm from whence he came.
So it's now time for Daria's turn to miss. Then Freddy or Ruben can get her.
This will be the one time she hits.
Um.
Second time that she hits.
All right. Well, she's going to try and cast the spell that she always misses, Guiding Bolt.
Oh my god.
Why is it called Guiding Bolt in the first place?
She has a +4.
I know.
Yeah.
She has +4, but yeah, nothing to be done there. Boof.
Cracksizzle makes the sound of a whole crowd booing.
Boo. Ooh. Okay. All right. Well, Duria continues to miss. Ruben can finish
Ruben
things
just
off.
like, it's like, we've all been there. And then like, but this is how a professional gets it done. And then probably immediately whips it.
Oh, that's a hit. All
Does
right.
he need to strike again, or is he dead?
He's almost dead. You give him a solid slash with your rapier. And then you slash him up with Freebooter, and he bursts in a cloud of shadowy energy and disappears.
That's what you get for waking me up from a really great dream.
Was that Fomorian? Was it a humanoid?
It's a giant.
A giant. Okay. Damn it! Give me a humanoid I can kill already.
Quit trying to literally steal my kills.
Okay.
I think it's.
I definitely do like a cool spin move with Freebooter and like put it back in my belt. I like this knife. This is a good knife.
All right. And in the remnants of the portal, which closes behind you, some items spill out of the shadow realm. And
Let us.
There we go. So I've shared a note with you. So in this little clump of shadowy cloth, you see a couple of scrolls, as well as a wand, and the ornate dagger. You already got your ornate dagger.
I did.
I guess Carlos. I remember we shifted the loot around. So instead of an ornate dagger, what is actually there is a strange quiver with 3 arrows in it.
Oh man, Kit Kat, that looks like yours.
Check it out.
Destiny seems to be favoring us tonight, my friend.
Because everybody else got special loot in the last encounter, I think.
Gwen got a freaking dragon dog.
Yeah, Gwen got a dragon dog.
There, he left out.
Magic hammer.
So what are what's Zephyr Strike?
It's a spell in Xanathars.
Yeah, it has to do with allowing you to like make a big movement, and we can look it up.
Does anybody want that wand? Because I could probably use that.
Where's the wand of Featherfall? No, you have it. You can take it.
Yeah, you have jet boots.
Yeah, I can.
You can
fly.
thunder step or whatever. So I think Ruben would need that more than anyone else.
Well, the nice thing is,
I think Featherfall casts in a.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
What's that?
So Featherfall affects up to 5 people.
Oh.
Yeah,
I have a lot of almost flight abilities, like slow fall and the boots.
I mean, the boots are our flight ability for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like Ruben like looks at the boots and then at the wand and he's like, it'll do.
All
Is the
right.
power word to activate them Expelliarmus?
It can be.
I mean, that would be Wingardium Leviosa.
Oh, perfect.
Um,
I
Does
just
there seem to
shout it's
be-
Leviosa, and then it does its thing.
is there anything special about the quiver, or just the arrows in the quiver?
One way to find out.
Yeah, so you think that they are a set, and that it's going to take some experimentation to figure out. But I assume that you all are going to take a long rest now, since all of the problems have been taken care of, and you already had a camp here. So
It'd be a shame to let it go to waste. And Ruben was having a very nice dream.
What happened to the drow that we?
They ran off like little bitches.
they were not combatants in this fight, but they are still around. Here we go.
Huh.
Here's the drow.
Oh, now you show up literally out of nowhere.
You guys, we were here the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about.
And then is the scroll of restoration or lesser restoration spoken for? Is someone else taking those? One of those?
I would like one of those because I take a ton of damage.
Sure.
Well, those do they cure like disease, like lesser restoration. I think cures disease or poisoning.
Or
Yeah.
if you're turned into a stone.
No, we have a greater restoration one that Craig Sizzle keeps on his person. So I have this. I'll take the scroll of lesser restoration.
Just because you're paranoid?
Yes. Very exactly because it's paranoid.
Yeah, I'll hold on to the scroll of restoration. The less you want the lesser or the restoration?
The lesser. So because in Craig Sizzle's mind, having a lesser and a greater means that all of your bases are covered.
And then, does anyone else want Zephyr Strike? You want to take that too?
Yeah, you can take that. It's a spell. It's a bonus action. Says you move like the wind until the spell ends, which is you concentrate on it up to a minute. Says your movement does not provoke opportunity attacks. Once before the spell ends, you can give yourself advantage on one weapon attack roll on your turn. That attack deals an extra 1d8 force damage on a hit. Whether you hit or miss, your walking speed increases by 30 feet until the end of your turn.
I mean, that's cool. I kind of do some of that stuff already if I
Yeah,
am
that's
honest
true.
with myself.
We should give it to Grandma.
Yeah, she's very slow.
Or Seven, who occasionally needs to get around, but doesn't make melee
Yeah.
attacks, I guess.
Well, I have the feline agility.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's basically for Gwen when she runs out of thunder steps or doesn't want a thunder step.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
She gets tuckered out real quick.
So over the course of taking a long rest, you guys heal up and regain all of your spell slots and all of that stuff. And we'll take 5. Just wanted to show the quiver off here. So going to
Ooh.
Very nice.
so it is a quiver of the arcane archer, and there are 3 arrows in it. And
3.
you reach in, you grab one, you roll 1d6 to determine which kind of arrow it is. You don't know until you pull it. The quiver regains 1d3 arrows per day. So you can temporarily banish your target. There's a bursting 3d6 force damage one, and then there's a grapple arrow, a grasping arrow. So it will be one of those 3 things at random, and you get 1d3 arrows a day.
So the grasping arrow, there's like a weapon like that in I think Horizon Zero Dawn, where you basically anchor them so they can't move.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's less of a
there's-
grapple, because when you said grapple, I thought it was going to pull it to you, and that would be really shitty.
It's a scorpion arrow.
So there's 3 of them in there, and I have
Yes.
to roll 1d6 to determine what kind it is when I use it.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like my freebooter. Like it does a cool thing. Except yours doesn't need a crit to do it, which is nice.
Right. So
Alright,
so
let's,
just
take
that
5.
that's ammo you got to keep track of. Yeah. So let's take 5 and refinish our drinks and whatnot, and we'll be back and carry on.
Yeah, slurpy slurp person.
So as you can see, you're quite close to the Drow City, and
Has Ruben asked any of his Drow what the name of the city actually is, or are we just calling it Drow Town?
they can tell you.
Drow Town.
They can tell you what the name of it is. So the leader of the Drow that you are with, the woman who was the kind of looked like the most seasoned warrior, her name is Ilmadia, and she can answer questions and what have you. But the but she tells you that the name of the Drow City is Mayinar, and that
Ruben's not going to ask how to spell that because he wouldn't need to.
Mayinar.
It's just like it sounds. And
I was close. I was real close, guys. Just so that we know, I was super close.
So and she she can tell you that it's like it's a stone stalactite that's in the center of a lake, and the city is built into the spire. If you have other questions first, she's open to answering some basic things, but she's a little cagey otherwise.
So do you guys sail around the lake? Is that how you get to the Mayinar?
There are rafts and boats. There's not wind for sailing, so it's mostly rowing or magic that propels boats across the water.
I gotcha. Ruben nods knowingly.
Everything about boats.
I'm Bodie McBoderson.
All right. Let me scroll to the right place here. As I mentioned last time, as you were exiting the chasm, kind of getting out of the last bits of that back towards the easier, the non-road road that you guys are on, you were noticing that it was becoming quite a bit muggier and warmer as you pass through. And that only increases as you take each step towards the Drow City. That water begins to drip from the walls and from the ceilings, and eventually you're sort of walking through an ankle-deep fog that just sort of like creeps around corners and is everywhere and makes the Underdark caves look very spooky, like a Dracula movie.
Ruben notices that Rami looks like a little shark in the fog as he goes around, and he thinks that's very adorable.
Technically, Rami is back in his figurine form. He's no longer out.
That is.
Oh yeah, we have not explained that yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he can only be out once every 4 days. And for 6 hours at a time. So he has to go. He has to go hang out by himself in the astral plane.
Ruben's suddenly very worried about what he's been seeing in the fog. Then, if it's not Rami,
yeah, it's a little Rami shaped figure that fits in the palm of his hand, palm of Gwen's hand, and
Ramikin. I love it.
Okay, I'll allow that one. I'll allow that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's pretty
good. So, you guys all kind of have to shed layers and cloaks and things that were keeping you warm before, in order to just like be able to stand the heat. Because it's not just tropical here; it's sauna-like.
But back in Gnome City, it was much more of a dry heat. This is a very soggy,
very very soggy heat. So when you these last couple of squares here, we're going to give you because the drow are able to lead you through us safely to the edge of the lake. And when you finally move through there, let me I'll make a little mark. So when you finally break out of the caves, you just heave this sigh of relief of like finally having open air. I mean, it's still like more than 80 degrees in here, but you're like you're able to sort of crawl up and out of the mist, and it's like you feel like a little less sauna like. And once you catch your breath, you kind of you're able to gaze at this huge lake cavern that you found yourself in. So the lake is covered in fog, and so you can't see the surface of the water, and you don't see any signs of movement, though you think the fog is enough to swallow a boat whole. But at the center of the lake, I mean, so I don't know how big you thought that this city was going to be, but it is humongous. This stalactite, it's a little hard to gauge from this distance, but you guess like thousands of people live in it, and you can see like lights in the distance, sort of poking out from between the rocks. But it's the shore. You're a good several hundred yards away from the shore. I mean, at the shore from the spire. And you can barely make out that there's a little island around the base of the stalactite that acts as a kind of dock. But the drow fill you in on that because it's pretty much swallowed in fog from where you're standing. So I'd like you guys to make a perception check, and a nature check if you have nature. Looking at 7.
Make both.
So if you have nature, so I think only 7 does.
I have a question. So if it's like so hot down here, I know that Ruben's taken off his shirt and it's like tied around his head.
Mm-hmm.
What is everyone else doing to like cope with the heat?
I imagine. Well, you guys may not have noticed immediately after like the battle and everything, but as we've been traveling, in addition to looking slightly older than she did before,
I like how it's like slightly, not too much, is slightly.
not too much, just a year. She looks about a year older.
Oh yeah, like because you can tell that detail. All right,
Yeah,
go on.
yeah.
Well,
you never ask a
at
lady
that
her age.
Exactly. But Gwen, you also notice that Gwen is significantly less muscular than she used to be. And where she used to have just kind of a very kind of blank look on her face a lot of the times, she now looks much more alert and like she looks a lot smarter. Just like she looks like she's not quite as sort of stupefied as she once may have looked.
Ruben's excited about doing perception checks on things that you read now. How about you, Craig?
Yeah, Gwen. I was just gonna say Gwen is significantly thinner. Like she used to be ripped, and now she looks like normal.
After being in the other dimension.
Yeah.
The Crack Sissel doesn't strip down anymore after the protest of his teammates. So he just pants like a dog. Like he makes the sound of a panting dog. He doesn't know what it's for, but like he gets that because it's hot. That's what he's supposed to be doing.
I like that Crack just walks around with his mouth open, making noise.
And his tongue
like
Well, that's exactly what 7's having to do, so assuming that this Crack just picked it up off the 7. And then he also just had to, take off his adamantium chain mail because that was getting vicious, and you just kind of tell his fur is just kind of Stick.
Yeah, you turning into a stewed cat in that armor.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, and now you're starting to feel a little envious of the kind of skimpy mesh outfits that the Drow wear, that they seem like pretty comfortable in.
Yeah, it's all coming together now. We're starting to get it.
Yeah, they've been to Coachella before. They know what's up.
They do know what's
If
up.
we're going to Fantasy Coachella, I'm really glad we have the gimp suit.
Yeah.
You're ready for that. All right, so you take stock and you survey the area a little bit, and the Drow are also sort of helpful in pointing a couple things out for you. So Reuben notices that there's a small dock nearby on the lakeshore. You know, always a keen observer of boats and boat-related things. His eyes his eyes immediately go to the shore where there are a couple of rowboats tied up.
We don't need one of those. We got our own boat. This is gonna be great.
The Crack Sizzle notices that about like 20 or 30 paces down the shore, it looks like a small party has recently camped there and has since decamped.
Coachella just happened here.
It's called Drocella down here, all right? Just, you know.
Coachella. I like it.
And after you take a little bit of a moment, like the mists are all kind of a little swirly, and it's a little hard to tell where things are moving and whatnot. But there definitely is some movement in the water. Nothing major, but you can hear like little splashes of like fish and wildlife moving around in the water.
Do the Drow seem concerned about the fog, or does it seem pretty normal?
It seems normal. Okay. They're not concerned. And then Seven notices that that there are a number of possibly interesting ingredients / natural hazards abound. So that Seven spots a couple of like little fungi and snails in the lake that he thinks that you all could harvest if you took the time. And Seven immediately clocks the movement in the water as quippers, which are basically like piranhas. And he also points out that high up in the cavern and sort of attached to the spire of the Drow City and elsewhere, there's just spider webs up there everywhere.
Yeah, no thanks.
Seven is like very interested in the fish, very tempted to just try to reach in and grab one for a quick snack. Kitty claws. However, there are piranhas.
You are a skilled warrior, so there is that.
I know.
What can I roll to try to do that?
You should grab all this stuff, guys.
Well, we should. There was one thing I don't know. Were you there, Sam? Regnal was like, we got enough plants and
fungus.
things. We need meats. We need those meats.
Yeah.
Well, we sent him a whole Arby's. If you pay attention to that, we sent him an Arby's worth of rat meat.
Well, there's snails too.
Yeah, I think we can do better though. I think we can. I mean, that's a good start. That's an appetizer for sure.
Snails would be very fancy.
Let's just yeah, let's send some fancy snails.
I think the snails are great. I think the fish are a really great idea too.
Yeah.
So as Seven sort of leans over the water's edge looking for fish, is anyone going to caution or stop him, or are we gonna see if he's smarter than the piranhas or not?
I'll like have my hand out like over his tail or shoulder, like ready to grab him if he gets dragged in.
Okay. All right. So Seven is probably proficient both in nabbing things by his claws, but he could probably also arrow a fish, like shoot it with a bow.
Wait, how many fish are like around? Does it look like there's like a bunch?
It looks like there's quite a few. I mean, they're in little patches. And it's hard to see underneath the fog, but Seven with his nature ability can spots out like a small group of fish that's near the shore that he thinks he could get to.
So it does seem possible to hit him with an arrow. It's
It
like
does.
shallow water.
Yeah, it does seem possible.
All right, well, I'll do that.
You-
That's probably smarter.
Well, your nature knowledge would tell you though that retrieving the fish would be the problem then.
Oh, I got this.
Because they are carnivorous fish, so they will eat, their fallen comrades.
Ruben just like holds up some rope and is just like, let's just make some little harpoons. Little
Oh,
harpoon
yeah.
arrows. We do this all the time back on the Sea of Swords or wherever we sail. Back home.
That's good.
Okay.
Or no one has any kind of net.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is
You throw the gimp suit.
Uh,
Fish.
You only catch a human-sized fish.
if you give me like an hour, I can make us a net.
And then Ruben like opens up his mouth and there's like a little crackle of electricity, like a burp.
Just gonna fry him.
Potentially. No, I'm down for whatever. We doing a beach day?
All good ideas. What do you guys want to go with?
I vote mini harpoons.
I'm down for whatever.
I like mini harpoons just because it'll be a team effort here. He'll have to hit him and we're gonna have to pull him in.
All right.
Now, do we want to use rope or we want to use spider silk webbing? How big are these fish?
They're not that large. They're bigger than your hand, but not huge. Piranhas are not that big.
We can probably use the rope then, right? Some hemp
Yeah,
rope.
rope. Yeah, rope sounds fine.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Why don't you have 7 and anybody else that's going to fish make like 3 ranged basic attacks, and we'll see if you can snag some good fish.
I'm
What is that, just
not
dex?
going to.
Ouch.
Yeah, it would be.
You said 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll try it. Fuck it.
All right.
Oh wait, that's my saves. Wrong one. Wow.
Well, you could also. Well, are you? It's like a basic weapon, so you're proficient in it. So you'd add your proficiency.
It should be 11, 14, 14, and 9.
Okay. All right.
While they're doing this, I want to examine the ring that we got from the Mind Flayer. I want to just sort of give that a little bit more of an in-depth look.
Mhm.
See if I can get anything coming off of it. Anything,
Can you
or
also look
anything
at that
more than I already know about it.
I also have some things that you could do if you're smarter now. But yeah, let's figure out what that's about.
Okay, so between 7 and Ribbon, you get 4 kipper skewers. So on these like arrows / little small harpoons that you made, you skewer several quippers on each one. Each skewer will probably take a slot in the backpack.
Perfect.
But it's like a few fish each one. Ryan, Gwen wanted to make Arcana check on the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Also, what about the snails as well? Do we get any snails?
So
Crack Sizzle's handling that.
Sure.
Yep.
Oh Jesus Christ! So wait, if I'm like taking actual time to like sit down and like as they're doing this for like half hour, however long, do I need to make an actual check?
Or is that
No.
like K20?
Sitting down and like examining and like.
yeah, you don't actually have to make an Arcana check. Yeah, like basically, like when you take a long rest, you can examine one item thoroughly,
Okay.
and figure out what it does. Basically. So, do you not have the ring? Yet?
I do. There's a specific line on it that I'm interested in to see if I'm getting anything coming off of it. Specifically,
Requires attunement, all that stuff.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So let me pull up that note sheet real quick. As for the snails, I don't know if we're gonna if you want to have Sam collect them or if you're all going to go, but basically, Seven spots a couple at the shore, but there's a nearby cave where there's like shallows that would be good for snail harvesting.
In my head, I just imagine him like hopping around closer and closer to the cave, just grabbing snails.
Yeah, Crexus literally skips through the shore picking up snails.
Okay.
This
So
is like in terms of the producers, this is our beach day for our reality show.
That's right.
yeah, like it's like an anime where all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, they all just go to the beach and forget about the plot for a little while.
Yeah, we're frolicking a little bit.
It's all done in montage.
It's strangely more sexy than you would imagine it.
Yeah,
I would say it was
exactly.
like less sexy than we'd ever imagined it, but I mean that works too.
What kind of music do we have going?
Like J-pop, K-pop.
All right.
Wait, what's Drow pop music? Whatever.
There we go. I was gonna let someone else do it. Yes, Sam. Yes.
It's just funeral dirges.
Yeah, it's just bagpipes and.
There's one drow in our party, Ted, who has like a little harpsichord or something, and it's all just pretty downbeat.
Oh wait, here we go.
The sound of chewing. Perfect.
Every time I try to play that loop.
Doot 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 doot.
Okay.
Stop it. Turn it off.
So we should
I'm
add
trying to concentrate.
the snails and the fish to our.
Well, unless we cut Mike off, you were skipping over towards the cave, the shallows, with the snails, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else Sam has to do for that?
Okay. Yeah, I have something for him. I was trying to find a one of those silly anime montage songs.
Or you just
Anyway, I can't find it. Stay focused.
No sleep till Drow City.
Exactly. So Sam, as Cracksizzle goes towards this cave, the shallows do indeed find a quite a good handful of snails, and as you start to collect them, you hear voices coming from the cave, and they sound a little bit familiar. You can roll perception.
Ooh.
No.
No.
So you can't quite pick it up. You're going to need to get closer. So if you would care to do so.
Yes, I'll sneak right up.
All right. So give me a stealthy stealth.
Very nice.
Oh, that is a
Nice
good stealth
job,
roll.
Bird.
He be
Okay.
sneaking.
All right. So you creep.
That's the noise that he's making. He's like dum 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 dum.
So you spot and then immediately recognize the voice of Kriv, the Dragonborn member of Team Dragon. And he is, he looks rather nervous, like he's sort of looking over his shoulder and kind of seems a little jumpy, but he kind of turns back to the two lizard folk that are on his team, and he's like, "Work faster, slaves!" As he sort of bites at them, and they you see them scraping some moss and things off the walls and gathering some snails as well. So you feel like you could sneak away without being known, or you could approach and make yourself known if you wished.
Where's my team? How far are they away?
So you're about a good 40 or so feet into this cave, and then the party is another, like, I don't know, 30, 40 feet down the beach. So,
We're down the beach a little ways.
They're not super far, but, you'd have to shout to get their attention, basically.
Are they... So, the dragon guy is having his... Who's working for him?
So the Team Dragon is this dragonborn guy, Kriv, who's the son of the mean dragon chef. And then there are 2 lizard folk that are on his team, that you have not been introduced to.
Who may be slaves, or that could just be metaphor. Let's not jump to conclusions, okay?
Yeah, they may be metaphorical or literal slaves. Who knows?
Yeah.
And they're taking the snails. They're harvesting everything, right?
Yeah, they're harvesting a bunch of stuff. I mean, you think that you could, get enough snails for yourself, but they are actively trying to harvest this cave, so it's a little bit picked over.
I think that Crack Sizzle will greet them. Yeah. I'm gonna meet him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, hail and well met, but really loud.
Yeah. Kriv just about jumps out of his scales, and the lizard folk flinch, and he says, "Good God, what the? you, what are you doing here?"
Frolicking. What are you doing here?
Don't you know there's drow about?
Uh-huh. One looks like Sylvanas.
I don't know what that means.
We're friends with the drow now. And the gnomes. And the spiders. Well, not the spiders so much. And the lady that keeps missing all of her shots. And the humans. And
Just
the magics.
shut up. Something tells me that perhaps you might be a little bit too thick to understand what's going on. These drow, you think you're friends with them. They are going to turn around and betray you at the first possible opportunity. You're a fool to think you can trust them.
And your slaves aren't going to turn around and betray you at the first opportunity?
What are you talking about?
And then Crack Sizzle repeats exactly as he said it. The voice, in his voice.
When you do that, do you just go like Deadeye and your just mouth opens up and like sound comes out? Like, how does that work?
It's pretty disturbing. Like,
yeah.
Are you thinking that? I mean, like, it seems like, are you trying to intimidate him, or just sort of like put him off his guard, basically?
Sounds like he's mocking him.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mocking him. Yeah, I'm giving him a hard time about it. He,
this is a good old fuck line.
He his eyes go wide, and he kind of has to gather himself. And you don't know who you're messing with, child. All right, you can do whatever it is you wish, you fool. I don't have to suffer this. Come. And he beckons to his lizard folk, and they grab their bags of gathered goods, and he just looks you up and down derisively and just, out of my way.
Okay. So as he's walking by, they have like big bags of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Praxizzle tries to pickpocket one of the lizard people.
Okay. Is it sleight of hand now? Is that the pickpocket skill?
Sleight of hand.
Yeah,
sleight of hand.
Yeah, I could go either way.
Okay.
Is that a contested roll?
It is.
That?
Yeah. But they fail. So when you go for one of the lizard folk, what are you looking for anything particular? Are you trying to pickpocket from the bags of stuff or from the person?
The bags of ingredients, like a pretty easy, just like
whatever's on top,
or whatever's on top of like their bag of crap that they were just collecting.
Okay. You take a peek in the bag and look for something a little bit shiny and nice looking, and you pluck it out of the bag. And as you kind of get close to the lizard folk like that, you notice that they're both wearing like magical looking collars. But when you tuck away what you stole, you've grabbed a pretty nice sized oyster.
Ooh, okay. So one nice size oyster.
That they had collected.
I know I keep doing this, and I'm sorry that I keep doing it, but I wanted to give Sam my inspiration point for today.
I think that's warranted.
Well, it's less for the pickpocketing thing and more for the way that he just like reenact, like everyone's friends with us now. The humans, the gnome, the spider, not the spider. Like I love that. That's great. So you get my point for being annoying.
I will take it.
That's excellent. So the Team Dragon passes by Crack, and everyone back on the beach, Gwen and Ruben and Seven, you all spot Team Dragon, that the Dragonborn, like sort of walking down the beach in a huff in your general direction.
I asked Ruben where his friends are going.
We all lizards don't know each other. Definitely all dragons don't know each other either. And then I use that distraction to try to win the arm wrestling competition I'm doing with Seven right now.
So as Kriv passes by you, he looks to Gwen, and he says, "You need to keep a better leash on your bird."
Have you ever tried to put a leash on a bird? Basically impossible.
He just says, and he looks at your party of drow and sniffs, and he says, "Don't say I didn't try to warn you." And they leave unless you prevent them from doing so.
Ruben just go, "About what? We warned us about what? I feel like I missed a part."
Seven's gonna like stick out his foot to try to trip one of them.
If you wish. Yes, Seven sticks out his foot.
With what? What is he rolling?
That's I guess it's kind of a grapple, so it's either athletics or acrobatics.
Okay.
Doesn't quite stick it out far enough.
Oh, I have something if it doesn't work.
All right.
Am I still blessed?
No, you're not still blessed.
I feel like at that point, Seven turns it into like, oh, he's just licking himself. He just like tries to play it off.
Stretches.
Yeah, the lizard folk person that you stick your foot out in front of, they kind of like, shuffle around your foot and look at you kind of with the cold dead eyes of a lizard. No offense, Matthew.
Oh god.
And they
just hisses at him.
Yeah, they hiss back.
So has Ruben seen like lizard folk before, or is that like a different I've seen Dragonborn?
Yeah, there are lizard folk in Faerun. If you haven't met one, you've certainly heard of them.
Okay, just as interesting. I didn't know how since we're dealing in multiple dimensions, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, they're not related to dragons.
Okay.
In a direct kind of way. They are literally like lizard people. And they're, not known for being like super intelligent or refined or whatnot.
So it looks like we've been friendly with everyone else. We now have our rivals, guys.
Senpai noticed us.
The time that I spent focusing on this ring, did I glean anything?
I may need a minute to find where Carlos wrote down. I mean, I know kind of about what the ring's deal is, but I forget the details of what he wanted to say there. So
Okay.
I may put that on hold for next time,
Okay. Yeah,
unless I find it.
Okay, that's cool. No worried. No reason to get bogged down on it.
Yeah. So Team Dragon makes its way out, and shortly thereafter,
Ruben's
assume,
like, I hope they find it. And they're like, what? And I'm like, that stick that's up his ass. That guy is an asshole.
so Sam returns from the cave shortly after Team Dragon has left, and
So
can relay.
then runs up to them. Guys, I was a total asshole to these guys.
Ruben's like, play it back for us. What?
Okay. And then Craxizzle, making all the sound effects but describing none of the visual, plays it back.
And Ruben's like, nods his head. He's like, yep, still just as creepy as the last time you did that. I haven't gotten used to it. All right.
Okay, so Craxizzle did pick up some of the snails and stuff in that cave.
Yes, he did. So Craxizzle presents a sack o' snails, as well as a pretty nice looking oyster that has a nice little pearl inside of it.
Ooh.
So you have a pearl worth 50 gold.
Nice. Someone on the treasure sheet.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Duria for a second.
Okay.
And just because I'm assuming she overheard what the Team Dragon said, and just sort of away from the drow a little bit, just sort of walk away for a little bit and
Okay.
have a little powwow with her for a second and say, so what are the relations like between the drow and the gnomes down here? Because from where we're from, drow they have a certain reputation. Should we be concerned about going into their city? Have you been to a Drow City before? Anyone you know? Is it something that happens on a regular basis?
Well, no, I've never been to a Drow City, and I'm not really looking forward to either. I mean, everything that I've ever heard or read is that these people, they hate the Empire. They worship dark creatures in the caves, and they're not to be trusted with or gone near. I mean, they're just as likely to kill you as anything. But then again, these drow, I mean, they're okay, I guess. They haven't done anything yet. It's just hard for me to trust them.
Right. Well. Oh, that's right, because they're sort of like druids, and they're kind of, they worship the land and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what you've kind of gathered so far. But that's not what Duria says. Duria thinks that there's something kind of dark going on.
Okay. Well,
is it because they dress like they just left a Skrillex concert?
Among other things.
It's because everyone's a little bit racist. It doesn't matter what dimension you're from.
Yeah, this is true.
Ruben finds strange comfort in the fact that people are just shitty everywhere he goes.
I kind of want to get some of those mesh clothes. It's pretty nice.
You could ask the drow about them if you wish.
So, if you are going to talk to the drow, you'll find them on the beach where Ruben is holding Garmilkin's gimp suit and has drawn a line in the sand and is trying to explain how volleyball works to the drow. And he's trying to get a pickup game going right now, and the ball just keeps trying to fly out of his hand.
How much like Top Gun does this look?
I mean, we're not there yet, but that is definitely what he's trying for. He's like, all right, so the concept of shirts and skins, and I realize with that mesh, it's going to be pretty difficult here, but this is how the game works. And then I guess Gwen walks up and asks a serious question because this is stupid.
Turn off Kenny Loggins.
And my serious question is what do I have to do to get some of that mesh clothing? Is that for sale? Can I buy some?
We'll play them for it.
The boys.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about going into the Drow City? Do we want to?
I mean, I thought that's where we were going. We needed to talk to their elders about the living crystals for sure.
Yeah,
I don't see anyone out here of any authority.
it's true. I'm just
As long as the
wondering-
Drow can like introduce us to someone that we can talk to, and we're not starting from scratch. I mean, I'm all in. We're this far over.
Should we go ask them if
Yeah,
we're
we
going?
should probably ask.
Like, who
Yeah.
can we speak to who's in authority?
Probably. I mean, the closest thing is the woman who's in charge of this group of Drow.
Hmm.
So
well,
we
you're
need to
welcome
see a
talk
guy
her.
about a crystal.
You broach this to the leader of the Drow that you're with. She says she tells you that when we reach the city, you will need to speak with the elders. Outsiders are not permitted to roam free in the city. We can bring you to the shore, and from there it will be up to the elders to decide whether they wish to share anything with you or welcome you to the city. But I shall tell them of your heroism and that you have aided us and most likely saved our lives.
Ruben takes like two of the Drow like around the shoulders, like, see, these guys are great. I love these Drow. So much better than our Drow.
Can I roll insight?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So there's you sense that the Drow they're very guarded around you guys. I mean, they are grateful for what you've done. That does seem earnest, but they are very guarded. That there's definitely things that they're holding back from you. There's definitely things that they're not saying, and the leader that you've spoken to, she does the talking, and if you try to talk to one of the like subordinates, she kind of would intercede and sort of step in and field those questions because she doesn't feel comfortable, having people sort of interrogate her people.
Listen, with faces like these, we've been outsiders our whole lives, so this isn't going to be anything new.
Good.
We're used to it.
As long as you are respectful of our people and our ways, I believe that the elders will see reason that you are indeed good folk.
All right.
Ruben winks theatrically at the rest of the group at the mention of good folk.
So are you guys going to take the rowboat, or are you going to use your
I think
boat?
we take our big boat. I think we hornswoggle this shit, yeah?
How far away is it?
There's
Might
not
as well.
any wind to sail on, though.
You said that we have oars in our boat, though, right?
But there is.
Yes, there is.
Wind. I have wind.
Ah,
Aha!
I have Qual's feather token, which I can create wind.
Okay.
We talked about this the first time we saw the boat. We were like, we can do this.
That's excellent.
all right. I'm gonna give Gwyn my inspiration point for making our boat work.
Listen,
Excellent.
it was
Thank
going to
you.
work.
Just we would have made the Drow row us across.
No, I mean, Ruben probably would have rowed too. Well, no, he wouldn't have. He would have made everyone
Yeah.
else do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what Drow slaves are for.
The captain doesn't row.
No.
If I know anything about boats, and it's not much.
Okay. So can everybody see that?
Yeah,
Yep. I love our boat so much.
Yeah.
such a good boat.
All right. So when you guys bust out the wind token, not only does it propel your boat forward, but it creates a huge mess of the fog that's in this chamber. So
We look
it's
awesome.
It's just this giant, explosion of fog cruising across the lake, shooting wisps everywhere around you, and you just douse the whole island in a huge wave of fog as you approach. Just
First impressions, Craig Sizzle, very important. Very
Right.
important.
and you guys are
Preach
like,
it.
I'm on a boat. So once the fog sort of settles a little bit and anyone can see, you find yourselves at the base of the spire, and there is a drow party waiting for you. I mean, obviously they saw you coming.
Yeah.
There was no doubt about that. And they're still kind of waving fog away from their faces,
As we
Looking
hop
up.
onto the dock.
looking a little bit annoyed.
And we go, we're here.
And
We made it.
We made it.
Crack Sizzle jumps onto the dock, and all the drow draw weapons. They're like, halt! Don't take another step.
No, it's us.
The woman in front, she takes charge, and she says, I don't know what you think this is, but if you do not explain yourselves, you will be shot.
Well, we think this is Maynard. Am I pronouncing that right? And we brought something you've been missing. You might have been missing. And I kind of motioned to the drow on our boat.
So the commander Ilmadia, she waves her arm and she says, Athenia, please lower your weapons. And she's all the drow on the shore look really confused, but they're cautiously lowering their weapons. The people in the back are holding they have hand crossbows, and Athenia has her longbow out, and there there's quite a bit of confusion. But as they sort of take in this side of your ship and all the fog and the drow that are kind of waving to the shore, that are rescued, and they see Ilmadia, you all have a chance to take in what these folks look like. So this woman out in front, Athenia, she looks like a very lean, battle-ready warrior. Definitely, has hardened plates in her, like a breastplate and the fine mesh clothing that you guys have seen before. But hers looks pretty exquisite looking, like it's custom made for her. And she, despite the sort of shock of all this, you can tell that she has an air that she owns this dock. This is her dock, and she's not about to take any shit. And the rest of the drow, are definitely look to her for what to do next. One step behind her is a male drow who is in kind of similar kind of chest plate armor, but you can see that he has, just kind of a breastplate that is made of sort of some sort of hardened webbing mesh, and it's just sort of strapped to his bare chest. And he's got his hand crossbow out, and he has some kind of similar markings of status that the other three, the two on this side and the one on the other, don't have. And they're sort of hanging back to see what happens. So so Athenia sort of lowers her bow a little bit, but she's still cautious and at the ready. And so Ilmadia sort of pops down in front of you guys, and she tells her, Athenia, I understand it's maybe hard to believe, but these outsiders, they saved us. We were captured by a mind flayer, and we would all be dead if not for their actions. And I told them that we would, if they would escort us home safely, that I would ensure that they were treated fairly and allowed to speak with the elders should they so wish. So you can definitely tell that Athenia, this is not how this conversation usually goes. But she sort of nods, and Athenia says, all right, Ilmadia, get your people on the dock, and we'll see to them, and allow us to speak with these outsiders. So as long as you all are amenable, the Drow are going to move on to the beach, and they're going to sort of like start to kind of like go inside and
as they like leave, like Ruben like shake like claps on the shoulder. It's like Fitzpatrick, Troy, Jeff. It's not their actual names. They wouldn't give him names. You just gave them names.
Yeah, they're confused by these outsider customs. So your two main Drow that are standing in your way, they sort of step back from the dock, and they allow you to sort of disembark and, all come closer. I don't know who's going to be doing the negotiation here, or if everyone is. You're welcome to approach as you wish.
See, Cracksizzle, this is why I'm in search of a really dope cape. Like, if you look like you're in charge, people treat you like you're in charge.
And capes make you in charge?
I mean, look at that armor over there. That looks fucking awesome.
I thought being old and grandma-ish made you be in charge.
Oh, my poor bird. We have so much to teach you.
Well, Crack has unknowingly has a point. The Drow Society, they are matriarchal, so it would seem strange for a man to be, asking any of the important questions or, doing any of the important negotiations when there's a perfectly capable woman to do it.
I mean, if there was a man around, I'd agree, but I mean, I'm a dragon, so...
Well.
Go ahead, Grandma. We got your back.
Yeah, try not to fall asleep this time.
Yeah, so I'll walk up to Athenia, and
she nods approvingly.
Say, I'll say, we would like to get entrance to your city. Under if you need to send us in with, like not a chaperone, but what I'm looking for, like
an escort.
Yeah, an escort. Yeah, an escort into the city. We understand. We understand we're not Drow, and you don't know anything about us. But I think that our actions so far have shown that we can be trusted. That we mean no harm to your people. We just have some things that we're looking for, and we're hoping that your elders may be able to give us a little bit of information about where they can be found.
Okay. Can you make a persuasion check with advantage? Oh. Athenia, she nods along with you, and she says, It is relieving to see that even these outsiders have a capable leader at the helm, nodding to you. And she says, certainly no outsiders would be allowed to roam freely in the Drow City. We would escort you to where you need to go. She seems I don't know, a bit conflicted about all of this, and she kind of in a brief break of her bravado, looks to her second in command, a little unsure for just a moment. She says, "You have earned that much. Our one of our greatest druids, Andriel, she will decide what is most appropriate. None of us like the idea of outsiders running amok amongst us, but as you say, you have presented yourselves very well and come with the recommendation of Ilmadia, a very accomplished and brave warrior who would not vouch for just anyone. There is something about all of you that is
Weird.
well. We will let the druid decide what's to be done with all of you.
Gwen cast invisibility on herself.
God damn it.
Just kidding. Just kidding. She's just nodding along, and then vanishes.
She doesn't realize that Ruben predicted this and has a rope tied around her waist. While this is happening, is Duria still on the ship?
Yes, she's
Because
like,
I'm like, Ruben's like, come on, let's go. I gotta go fold this thing up.
I'll follow behind you. You walk first.
Oh, come on, are you scared?
I'm not scared. This is, this is a strange place. It's dangerous here.
Oh, all you're describing is an adventure, and this one's pretty great. You don't want to be at the tail end of an adventure, right? You got to be up there in it.
I'll be right behind you.
Is this a GM thing, or is this a character thing for her?
It's a character thing. You can try to convince her if you wish.
I mean, I'm trying to. I'm like, you're gonna miss out on all the treasure. There's gonna be so much treasure.
Are you going to loot these people too?
What do you mean too? I haven't looted anyone yet. Not anyone that didn't deserve it. I.e., a giant mind-sucking squid man and some shadows that hated us.
You leave nothing but a trail of destruction and death in your wake. And
that's a coincidence, and you can't prove otherwise. And really, you've been on the best side of that destruction. Miss, I can't hit the broad side of a cave.
Shut up. This is serious.
Yeah, and now you're on the dock. Look what you did. Good job. And then I whisper, I shout Hornswoggle, and the boat folds up. You're going to thank me later. And then I walk back, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm whispering.
Okay, the boat is gone.
Yeah.
And
I could baby Bjorn her across my chest with some of that.
I think she's an adult. I think she can make decisions for herself.
So Athenia says, very well. We will escort you. I'll need you to hand over your weapons.
Oh, wait, they're serious.
Mm-hmm.
Where will you keep them?
I will keep them safe for you. If we are to trust you, you must trust us.
I mean, I'll hand over everything but freebooter, and I'm going to pretend that I don't have freebooter.
Okay, you can make a deception check.
Dope. So yeah, I'm pulling out a dagger, my sword, my short sword, and I'm like, yep, that's all I got. And then, where's my shit?
I currently don't. My long sword is not on me, so I appear not to have a weapon.
I'll re-roll that. I have a point of inspiration I haven't used in a while. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Where's my shit?
There we go.
Okay. That's enough to do it.
Ooh. That's
so,
right, guys. I will waste inspiration on the stupidest shit.
Yeah, Athenia gives you a second look, but then nods you past.
Yep.
So what is Gwen going to say to them in regards to her being unarmed?
I'll say I don't use a weapon, and I'll use prestidigitation. Stupid looking magical effect that looks like I'm trying to show off that I know magic. Just like a flash of like light.
And Ruben's by her elbow going,
All right, she says, very, very well. I'll be watching for any spell casting while we're in the city.
Crack Sizzle leans over to Seven and says, "Do I have to leave them my arms? Should I take off my arms?"
Yeah.
Ruben leans over and goes,
"My boy here is a."
Can you do that?
No, I don't think. I hope not.
I mean, it'd be pretty exciting if you could, though, right?
Crack Sizzle thinks that they would be satisfied with the marbler, the tenderizer, your various knives, daggers, darts, a small arsenal of little things tucked into your. You think that's enough weapons to hand over?
Besides, Birdman, we all know that you're more dangerous without a weapon than with one.
Shut up,
Mr. Keymaster.
Fuck up, let me talk.
Pretty bird.
Athenia says to Gwen, "Your subordinates are quite crass,
Weird, right?
Lethal.
and disrespectful."
I
You mean amazing.
They're an acquired taste.
Why you would tolerate them is beyond me. Very well. So Seven
My
hands
mother
over his
doesn't
weapon too.
choose her children.
Yeah, Seven hands over his bow, but like when they take it, like his paw does not let go easily. Like it's very difficult for him to relinquish his bow.
Daria hands over her hammer, and you guys move on. All right.
Do we get receipts?
You do not.
Get a coat check ticket.
Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum.
Oh, no, I can't see anything.
Hold on. Sorry. I guess I should have sent you guys first and then swapped the tab. But okay. That's everyone, right? Okay. All right. So you make your way up through the Drow City with Athenia and Bicresso. And what you notice is that the city is carved out from rock, and oftentimes like naturally shaped looking, like there's soft edges. It doesn't look like the stone has been like mined as such, but shaped. And in the center of the city is this huge central column around which grows like an entire forest of mushrooms. And as you go up, spiraling up level after level, as you make your way up here, you see various Drow citizens working on harvesting these mushrooms. And by the time you get up to this sort of higher mid level, you notice that there are spiders amongst the, standing on web in the sort of open spaces between everything. These spiders, they look similar to the ones that you fought, though they kind of have like droopy antlers, and they're sort of sedate and pretty chill. And you think that they have domesticated these spiders. And you can see like various Drow harvesting their webbing, as well as their delicious spider milk for making what you assume is the finest spider milk cheese you've possibly ever seen.
Yummy. Moschos, guys. Moschos.
Athenia leads you all forward towards this shrine that's up ahead of, unless you have any last minute questions before you speak with this elder druid.
So they just walk straight up there.
Yeah, so they're leading you guys there, and they expect you all to follow. And if you don't, they will say something. But if you do want to stop them and ask them a question, you may.
What's just as we're walking past, what's happening over here? With these like food prep area, it looks like.
Oh yeah. So these people are taking the harvested mushrooms and spider milk, and they look like they're making prepared goods, basically. So taking those mushrooms and spider things and turning them into meals that can be then preserved and kept. If anybody wants to roll knowledge history, that's probably the closest thing I could think of to sort of getting a grasp of a city as you pass through it and what you might compare it to. Otherwise, the Drow City it does seem like a strange place. So Reuben and Crack Sizzle, as you move through, you notice that there's a number of and 7.
God damn it.
All the dummies rolled good.
We all these dummies have been on the road. All right, we
That's
travel.
not that dumb either. He's just crazy.
So the thing that sort of sticks out at you is that there are a number of stalls and people working and producing products and things like that. But in the several levels that you guys walk up, you never see anyone, any money changing hands. Like you see like people walk up to counters and receive things, but they don't give anything for them. And you think that this society might be a moneyless society.
Oh, Reuben shivers into his soul.
Any further questions?
Nothing.
Wait, so we're stopped to talk to these guys?
You can you can ask Athenia questions if you wish.
Okay, so Crexel is going to ask Athenia, who's the best cook here in Drow City?
She says that's not really my specialty. Though there are a great many fine cooks in this city. If you wished to speak with them, you would have to ask permission from the elder.
Very well.
Okay. So as you guys move further forward, you see this little shrine and a little fountain pond out in front of it. And you see a white-haired, older-looking woman who is, looking into this shrine sort of with a, kind of innocent sort of curiosity. And she looks at all of you as you approach. I think that the common drow are kind of shocked, and some maybe you might say a little scandalized to see outsiders walking through. Nobody's panicking or anything like that because you are under escort.
Reuben waves.
And so this druid here, let me make sure I have her name visible. Okay. So Athenia approaches her, and they have a brief private conversation. So they speak to each other quietly, and Athenia points at you all and sort of looks over her shoulder at you, and he kind of scowls a few times and sort of seems to be relating some of the basic details of what's going on, as well as giving you the side eye as she fills in this druid. And then the two of them step aside, and the druid, she reaches out her hand towards you, and
Turns crack sizzle.
I will turn you with the force. She steps back. She says, "Come closer, outsiders." And Athenia cautions you all. This is the druid Andronil, and you will show her respect. Understood?
Yeah, I'll just nod my head.
Athenia points you forward. I can move you if you want, or you can move
That
yourself.
works for me.
Yeah, why don't you move us?
Okay, I can just select everyone and select all and move, and Duria hides behind. There we go.
I like look around there. I'm like, it's okay.
So the druid takes a moment to examine each of you, and you feel that her gaze is a little bit uncomfortable in the way that she looks at you so plainly and so piercingly, as she just doesn't say anything at first.
So I want to thank you. Meeting with us. Understand that outsiders are not common in your city, and we appreciate this audience.
It's a very nice stalactite.
Well, thank you, child. I will. Your comments are noted. I sense something strange about the four of you. There is something. The four of you seem to be not aligned with nature.
In what way?
Do we seem interplanular?
Totally tubular, dude.
She says, "Oh, you are certainly from another land, another world, but wherever it is you're from, I sense that you are not aligned. You are not allies of nature. Is that true?"
No, nature tries to kill us pretty much wherever we've gone so far.
Her eyes are a little bit wide at that. And she says, "That's very disappointing."
I know, right? I said the same thing.
Know that you have such an attitude, little lizard.
I mean, he wouldn't be the first person I've disappointed. But let's not get into that. Not today.
We have, we don't want to take up any more time than we have to. The reason that we're looking for a specific, item. We were sent here to find a living crystal of some kind. We were hoping someone with your expertise and experience might be able to better understand what we are looking for.
I do indeed, and I think that I understand that were you to find such a thing, you would kill it, harvest it, and take it for your own, as though you own it.
Well,
Ruben leans over to Gwen. Well, that went really well.
Busted. We're busted, guys.
What's our safe word? Did we agree on a safe word?
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, about the size of it. Is this item something that you hold sacred? We'd hate to, step on any toes as far as your religion.
Ruben rubs his eyes. He just can't believe this is happening. It just keeps happening. It just keeps getting worse.
She says, well, I do wish to give you all the benefit of the doubt, though it is clear that you do not understand our way.
We're very new to your world.
You are indeed, and I am not yet sure if you are a force of creation or a force of destruction. But you think there are sacred artifacts and holy sites to plunder. And what you fail to realize is that all of the land around you is sacred. That everything from the lowliest speck of dirt to the greatest creature lives in a cycle of harmony with this world, with the spirit of the land. And that outsiders such as yourselves think could come here and take what you wish. It shows a profound disrespect for the land.
Well, then by that logic, though, I mean, Reuben's like, we're not plundering anything if we're just all part of this great big old circle. It's here, we're here, taking and giving, giving and taking. Isn't that all that anyone?
I think that you are only interested in taking and not in giving.
Oh, I give as good as I take, let me tell you.
She says, I suppose I cannot expect outsiders to know the touch of our divine source. And as she sort of like ponders that point, you see a very, regal and sort of fancier looking drow woman making her way towards you all. She sort of wears like ceremonial robes and like fine gems, whereas Andriel, is very much like wearing like natural fibers and having kind of adornments of little twigs and things in her hair. This woman, she says, Andriel, I trust you're giving these outsiders the welcome that they deserve. And Andriel looks at this priestess and she says, this is none of your business, priestess. The priestess just sort of looks at the lot of you and she says, I believe that our people have a great need for strong, adventurous outsiders such as yourselves. Perhaps you will all come speak to me when you're done talking about twigs and branches. And she sort of, huffs off.
Reuben takes like elbows somebody. He's like, I knew they weren't all communists. Did you see those gems? Now we're talking.
Andriel shakes her head. And she says, I can understand why the things that she might say to you would be tempting. And we do indeed need help.
What if we could get some type of arrangement? See, we don't want to take any more of this crystal than we need. We don't mean to strip it entirely from you. We need just a small amount, and then we'll be gone.
It's all give.
If there's anything we can help, if there's anything we can do to sort of grease the wheel, as it were.
The great circle, to complete it, to fill.
Circle of life.
To play our part.
She says, I do not wish to be only a source of dour and gloom. If you could hear our earth, it would be screaming. And our people are in equal danger. I see that you have brought a gnome with you. I assume she is from the Empire.
She's been around.
Duria, you guys look at Duria and, she proudly wears her Clockwork King, holy symbol, Empire flags, all over her.
Damn right. Fuck yeah.
She got truck nuts on the back.
Yeah, she's got truck nuts. And Duria just says, that's right. That's right. And Andriel says, the gnomes, they wish to take our land from us. They think it would be profitable for them to reap what we have here and use it for their own ends. And Duria's like, that's not true. That's not what's going on. And Andriel just sort of ignores her. And she says, I fear that this battle is already lost. So, if you are willing to give to us, to our people, I believe that I may be able to help you. And perhaps you will not like my offer, and perhaps it is not meant to be. But I will say this. It is only a matter of time before the gnomish war engine grinds through our land and takes everything for themselves. And saving our people would be preferable to losing all of our land and all of our people.
Mm-hmm.
Says, I would like, if you are brave enough, to find a viable path to evacuate our civilians.
Okay.
To where?
I believe that the only safe place left is either deep into the Dark Lake or through the toxic caves. She says that there is a depot that the gnomes have. They think that this is some sort of secret, though everyone knows where it is. They have some technologies that would help normal people to deal with the toxic fumes in the caves. He says, if you were to take these from the gnomes and bring them here, I would be most grateful. And
Is she saying this while Duria's like standing behind us?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
And she says,
So-
and beyond that, if you were to chart a path through the toxic caves that would avoid many of the hazards, then you would have done a great service to the Drow people and saved many innocent lives.
Mm.
So what you're saying is there's a depot that the gnomes own that you want to claim as your own?
No, I wish to use their resources to save the civilians from the poison. They have masks that protect them. And the gnomes, they produce these things, and they're going to use not only that, but their ample war machine to kill and level our city. I could easily pass through the toxic caves because I am in tune with the earth in a way that many are not. And though I know that many Drow, they believe in the earth spirit, but they are not in tune enough to be granted its protection.
Mm.
So it's a smash and grab. I love it.
If you were to do either of those tasks, I would be willing to guide you to where you would find these crystals.
Hmm. How much time
what
is
was
left
the
on
number?
in our little time bank?
So you're at 132.
Okay. That sounds like it'll take a long time.
You have
what about
22
the-
days left.
I mean, we've only been down here, 8 days?
Mhm.
What about what was the Dark Lake option?
She says, we have experts in navigating of the Dark Lake, though that is not preferable because I believe that it will only be a matter of time before the gnomes come there too. She says, we can navigate the Dark Lake on our own. If you chart a course through the toxic caves or bring us the depot masks, I would consider you having given as well as you get, as your dragon friend so put it.
I like the way she thinks. I mean, we're gonna steal some shit, right? Who's not down for that?
She says, I can leave you all to discuss it amongst yourselves if you wish. I feel comfortable that if you wish to move through the Drow City under guard, as you are now, so long as you are respectful and do not cause trouble, you may remain here.
All right.
So wait, can we ask her questions then?
Of course.
Who's the best chef in the Drow City? Where do you get all the spider cheese? Also, this looks delicious.
She smiles. She says, I like you, bird.
Gracias.
She says, we have a great many excellent craftspeople in our city. I mean, just behind you, you can see them harvest the spider resources. We live in harmony with the spiders, and as they provide for us, we provide for them. And she says that the creation of spider cheese is it is a delicacy that is passed down through generations. I don't know that you would find someone willing to teach you such a thing without paying a price. However, I can point you to she points you to the chef that is standing nearby down to the south, the woman that you were watching earlier. And she points at her and she says, she is one of our finest chefs and an expert artisan of food crafts. If you wish to learn about our cuisine, she would be the person to ask.
Bingo. Thank you, ma'am.
We noticed as we were coming into your city at a few of the merchants, goods were being exchanged, but there was no coin changing hands.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's not customary where we're. Is it like?
It's unnatural.
Yeah, but that's unnatural. No.
She says,
how does your society? How does the economy operate?
She says the Drow all work collectively together for the betterment of all Drow. Though I understand that outsiders, they do not understand or necessarily appreciate this method of living. Therefore, we do have a couple of merchants who deal with the outside world to procure some of the things that we cannot make our own, and as well as gain outside resources by selling our silks and other goods that we produce in excess. She says, in the lower levels, you'll find Linny Strahan, and she is a trader with the outside world who goes on various trips to and fro, and you'll find her in the levels below should you wish to exchange coin for some of our goods, if you will.
Well,
What about Fancy Pants over there? What's her story?
She is a priestess and she believes in a different path than I do. She believes that the earth and the spirits of nature around us are to be worshipped and prayed to and served, as opposed to reaching out and connecting with and being a part of. It serves the same purpose, though they are all quite misguided. She is a respectable priestess, though. If she indeed invited you to speak with her, I wish you caution, but I will not stop that.
Caution? Ellipses.
If you have no further questions, I will leave you with Athenia and Bikresu with their very capable hands.
All right.
Let me know if you decide.
Small bow.
Yeah, let me know if you fulfill any of the things that I have asked.
All right, quest giver, we get it.
Do a quest. Okay, so you guys
Bring
bow
me
out,
10.
and you can talk amongst
all right,
yourselves for a minute
Huddle
if
up,
you
guys.
if you wish.
Huddle up.
Huddle up.
Hope, hope, hope. Come on, Victoria. Good spot. I imagine that we're all in a huddle and we have our just in the middle of this Drow City.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm on my knees. So what do you guys think before we go talk to the other priestess? I don't know, that thing that she wants us to do seems like it would take a lot of time.
Well, the charting of the course, definitely. Stealing some masks, that's easy. Just stealing some stuff and bringing it back. A smash and grab.
Duria says, she says, I'll not have you working against the Empire while I'm here. You can't simply take from the Empire, undermine their cause. These Drow...
Undermine.
Boo.
Well, it sounds like your people have plans for these Drow.
Those are lies. You can't possibly listen to these people and believe what they're telling you about the Empire. The Empire helps people. That's all we
Who's
do.
they been helping out lately? How's that work?
Yeah.
She says, the Empire welcomes everyone.
He laughs again.
Who isn't a criminal. Everyone who wishes to be a part of the civilization and the culture can be, and the collective, everyone works for the greater collective good, and that means making the kinds of technologies that will advance our civilization, that will make everything safer and better for everyone. It means fighting for our defense against the creatures that roam the caves of the Underdark seeking to murder innocents.
It means a bunch of fancy people living behind a wall get to have the best shit while everyone else doesn't.
No, the wall protects everyone. You don't understand. We built the Bastion. The Clockwork King made the Bastion around the whole of the land to protect.
I'm not talking about that wall. I'm talking about your little wall.
Well, you can't expect a city of that size to simply welcome in every spider and pudding monster that wants to walk in the door.
No, but there were plenty of other jerks in that jail that didn't seem so bad.
What are you talking about? Those were criminals. They broke our laws. I mean, what is a civilization if you have no laws?
I'm just saying, although don't hide behind the whole welcoming kumbaya stuff if you're not gonna, actually do it. That's all. Just calling it like I see it.
Duria shakes her head.
What about people that don't wish to be a part of the Empire? What do your rulers think of that?
If they do not wish to be a part of the Empire, that is their choice. They are free to live apart from the Empire.
With the spiders and the puddings and the
That's
bad
their
things,
choice.
right?
if they reject the protection of the Empire, then they're forging their own destinies, as these Drow have done. They have their city. They have everything that they want. Like, I don't see what they can complain about.
Well, what's the depot doing so close then?
This is a very important area. I mean, all of these heat vents and this lava, it's used for energy production. We use this resource just as the Drow use the resource.
I don't know. These people seem. I mean, they look like they seem like they're trying to. I mean, they're trying to essentially escape. That's what they asked us. I mean, you heard her. They're looking for escape. So there's something going on that is forcing them to leave.
If they're trying to go somewhere, that maybe they wish to spread their colony. Maybe they're trying to expand and take new land for themselves. I don't know. You can't just believe what everyone tells you.
Well,
You should try it sometime.
well,
Because that's some great propaganda you're spilling right there for this Clockwork King.
It's the truth.
Uh-huh. I've run into a lot of guys that claim to be kings of a lot of things, and rarely do they tell the truth.
Well, don't think that I'm going to stand by if you turn against the Empire. You don't know. I agreed to guard you and show you through the Underdark. I am not on board for some sort of assault or treasonous treachery, sabotage, whatever it is that you want to do.
It's only those things if you get caught. Otherwise, it's just fun.
No, it's not. That's not how it works. That's not how the law works. There are rules for a reason.
all right. Well, let's don't get your little plate mail in a twist. Let's go talk to this priestess and see what says.
Yeah, we'll probably wrap it up in like 30 minutes or something like that. One more little conversation, and maybe make some plans amongst the party. And or you can also go shopping real quick if you guys want to.
Okay.
How do you like freshman philosophy class going on here?
I love it.
I love inflicting philosophy class on people, especially when they don't want it.
I think it's funny that all NPC conversations going to be like this. Like, you always end up with a kind of a political conflict like this, and it seems I don't know how to avoid it altogether. Like, Ruben and Gwen are kind of feeding into it, and they're bickering about it. But I don't think Crack Sizzle 1 would know the answer to these questions or particularly care.
Right.
So I think it's pretty fun.
What I miss?
Oh, I was just asking Sam how he likes freshman philosophy class.
Oh. What's the best part of it?
Moral relativism.
All right. I feel like it's a fun kind of world to be in while playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I concur. Especially because we don't have a vested interest in the same way. Like, our goal is very literally not the goal of everyone else. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Party. So we're kind of outsiders looking in, be an asshole, which is funny.
Yeah, and you can be as big of assholes as you want. But there's consequences for everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where I'm really interested to see how the larger world at Sigil, how that plays, because that's the world that kind of matters to us at this point.
Right. And from what you guys have seen, like the show, this the Pangusticon, is definitely catering to the like rich, privileged audience who don't care about all these like dirt scratching poor people in other worlds.
Which is what we are as players, which is also hilarious. Like, I'm hoping our arc is that we realize that we're working for the man.
All right.
Hello. Bryant, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Can I get a before we move on? Can I get a quick response as to like where Seven is at? Having heard these arguments and whatnot, I know that Seven tends to hang back and listen. But where are you at as far as like, do you think all of this politics stuff is important, or you just gotta get the job done, or where are you at right now?
I think Seven's kind of because Duria was originally offering to take us back to her place and see what I can't remember where she was going to take us to see what they had to say about the living crystal.
The engineers.
Seven's kind of interested to. I think he's kind of interested to see what they have to offer as well. See if we can get. Because where's the depot place?
Yeah,
do we have to go all the way back to the city for that?
We have to go all the way back for the engineers.
Yeah, so the engineers are in the city. The depot is in the mines, the Gnomish mines.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same general
Yeah,
direction.
it's kind of close by. We could maybe pop into the engineers real quick and then weigh the options.
It all depends on how well we travel.
Yeah, but you guys have gotten a lot faster at traveling now. Like that first day or so was kind of a slog, but now that you have Duria and the blessing, you move pretty quick.
Well, we also haven't tried to use the carts, the subway system.
Correct. Duria can tell you that the rail lines, like, you know, they're for kind of like official business. That you would basically need like a writ from the government in order to use the rail lines for your own purposes.
I'm forging that shit.
Yeah, we hobo that shit.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys know that you could forge things, or you could like jump on the top of the train or something, or just hobo car it. You know, there are inherent dangers in trying to do so, but yeah,
especially
it's totally
if we're
possible.
underground in tunnels. There's only so much room on the roof of a car.
Also, Crack Sizzle does have the ability to forge like pretty much anything, including a calligraphy set.
The problem is I don't know if we have a writ just lying around. So
yeah, you don't know what one looks like.
You can just make it up. We have seen the world's best map. I could just put on the world's best writ.
That's great.
I like that.
Well, let's talk to this priestess.
Yeah, let's see what else we got in here.
So I figure we can talk to the priestess, and you guys can go like shopping if you want, and then we'll probably call it a night.
Shopping montage.
If there's time.
Shop.
Okay.
Shop.
All right. So for this part, Duria is going to pout, and she's going to say, you know, go on and make your schemes. And so she hangs back while you guys go.
Fine, we
to the
will.
priestess.
This is us scheming.
All
Ruben's
right.
very petty.
I can tell actually. I don't know if that's coming across.
Roll
but-
No, it's a
perception,
real
like-
subtle line. Someone has to be in this group.
So the priestess, nods to you all, kind of regally, and she waits for you to speak.
So, what did you have in mind?
Oh, good. I'm glad you outsiders have someone strong and reasonable at your helm.
Oh God, Ruben rolls his eyes so fucking hard.
The matriarchy. It burns. Anyway, she says, I am Priestess Zegra. I thank you for accepting my invitation to speak with you all, and I'm glad that you've left your little gnomish friend away. I wouldn't wish to have a spy such as that around.
She's less a spy, more just a buzzkill.
Well, given how emblazoned she is with her empire glory.
Terrible spy, right? Like, that's way too obvious.
She narrows her eyes at Reuben, and gives Gwen the look like, keep your boy in line.
I'll sort of behind my back, I'll just sort of try and close Reuben's mouth with like one hand.
Give him the face palm.
Not quite the full face palm. Just trying to kind of give him a little zip it.
It was a logical loophole. It was obvious.
Is that 7 that's whispering that? Yeah, give him the gimp suit if he needs it.
So let's.
She says, "Let me guess. That Druid and Dariel. I'm guessing that she's looking for some new creative way to surrender to the Empire. Is that right?"
Seems more like she's trying to create new ways to run away from your problems.
Yes, like I said, new ways to surrender.
Yep.
If we wanted those dirty digging gnomes to have our land, we would have given it to them. But obviously, that's not an option.
What did you have in mind?
She says, the druids, they are touched by Mayene, and they are blessed for that reason. But they do not understand what is at stake, nor what needs to be done. Our world and our prophet combined into one divine being, and that divine being not only gives us power and grants us blessings, but shows us the way. And if we were to abandon our homeland, we may as well forsake all of our bonds and beliefs.
You have a prophet?
She says, "Do you not know of our faith?"
No.
We're
not from around here.
Yeah.
She says, "It is an interesting tale if you have the time."
Well, we've all heard of Skrillex, guys. We've heard that.
He who droppeth the bass.
Drop the bass.
Skrillex 27.5, and he raiseth it back up on the third day to droppeth it again.
And the wubs, they were good.
And he was tempted by Deadmau5 in the desert.
So the prompt in the game says, "Do you want to know more?"
I mean,
or do you wish to skip?
Your guys' call. I just didn't know if it was a fulcrum we could leverage.
Yeah, let's learn more about Skrillex. But we have to call. Can we call the god Skrillex? Texas decided that's the god.
You may not call the god Skrillex, not to their faces, at least. I mean, you can call it amongst yourselves, but the Drow would not appreciate that. She says, well, I'm glad that I can share this story with you. Are you familiar with the Clockwork King? You have a priestess of his amongst you. I assume she has spouted on about his glories.
Yeah, here and there. Things.
The general.
The cliff notes, if you will.
Well, that's all you need to know. She says that after the calamity and the Clockwork King and the Bastion was made, we all quickly realized that the civilization that he was giving rise to, this mechanical, grinding beast that just consumes and does not create anything, that was not going to be acceptable. So our ancestors, they rejected the Clockwork King's empire in favor of their own independence. In the years after the Bastion was formed, our prophet, Mayin, she was searching through the new bounds of the Underdark because, as you know, once everything was sealed in, we lost the surface world and we lost everything outside. And so there were many who sought to understand what had become of the land and what had changed. And certainly if you are to cut off a water supply, if you are to reshape rocks, and if you are to make caverns, the landscape of the Underdark drastically changed in that time. When she was exploring these things, and she realized that the earth had changed, she also received a vision. And what she saw was that the earth inside the Bastion was struggling to survive because it had been confined, it had been locked in, but it had also become magnified and focused. And Mayin realized that the force that gave the Clockwork King his vision was the very spirit of the earth itself. Life longs to remain. Life wishes to persevere, and the very earth itself cried out to anyone that would hear it. And so when this spirit of the earth reached out to our prophet Mayin, she realized what the true greater power was, that these people who worshiped the Clockwork King for the things that he had done, he was touched by the god. He was given knowledge that he needed, but he's no god of his own. He is merely a messenger for the true force of the divine in this world. So when the prophet united the Drow and the Kuo-toa and the Quagoths to leave the Empire saw this as a betrayal, and they sought to hunt us down and wipe us out. If we were not going to serve them, then we would. They did not wish us to be a threat. And fledgling as our movement was then, the prophet told us to go out deep into the Underdark and search for these locuses of natural power, and to not be too caught up in this sort of world of mortal politics.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Locusts? Is that the bug or the
Focal points, locus.
Locus is a focal point, like a nexus is another word for that.
Okay, thank you.
It could have been giant locusts, though. I mean, this is the
giant
Underdark.
locusts. This is the Underdark. Who knows what's going on?
I think at the end of this story, Craxizzle just goes, but giant locusts, though, like bugs?
Sorry about the SAT words. It's a personal weakness of mine.
He has it's like a word of the day calendar. It's like, ooh, this is a good one.
They have
Goddamn
SATs
English
in the Underdark.
majors.
What's that, Sam?
It's a
They have,
god.
they have SATs in the Underdark. That makes sense. Really rigorous college exam.
Standardized testing.
Ryan, what'd you say?
I said goddamn English majors.
I know you gotta hate those English majors. What are you gonna do with them? You can't
Yeah,
live
what
with
are you
them.
gonna do
End of sentence. Can't live with them.
Just strap them in a focus and stretch. Locus.
All right. So she wraps up the story. So the Empire captured the prophet Mayin and put her to death.
Bummer.
But in her last moments, the earth itself rose up and consumed her, allowing her to become one with the earth spirit. And the conflict between the Empire and the Drow has gone on since then, and they perpetually expand and expand and take and take and take, and they wish to leave nothing left for us, nothing left for the natural beings that live in the Underdark, only taking what they want. And now I, as a priestess of Maine, I serve the Earth Spirit and act in the best interests of our land and of our people.
Mm.
How can we be of any assistance? Did she hear us talk, Crystal? Does she know what we're looking for? Apparently.
Yeah, she overheard something of what you were talking about. She says, a piece of the living crystal is a sacred thing indeed, but if you were to serve the earth and Maine and our people, it would be a worthy gift that I think that both we and the earth would be willing to give. She says, the gnomes must be stopped. They cannot be allowed to recklessly expand as they have. So, if you have any stratagems that you wish to propose, I would be happy to take them to our Elder Council. That said, anything you could do to undermine their efforts would be greatly appreciated. The Drow, we are famous for our craft of nature and of our poisons. And should you wish to truly stymie the gnome in their efforts, I believe I could procure a particularly potent poison for you.
Nice job with the particularly potent poison.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of pa.
English majors can't live with them. End of sentence.
Alliteration.
Yeah, we'll consider that. Gwen's like not super into poisoning a bunch.
I mean, you can tell that, in the priestess's mind, this is like a very rational and reasonable thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. We're going to slowly back away while maintaining eye contact.
And so she says, please contact me when you're ready to learn more.
Would you like to know more?
So she goes on her merry way, unless you have further questions for her.
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay.
That escalated quickly, guys.
Yeah, now we're asked to perform genocide, kind of.
I mean, it's not genocide. It's just kind of a large-scale killing.
It's either gemicide or genocide. It's the two choices right now.
Ooh, nice.
Well, in the process,
very focused
Seven
killing.
could
What's
learn
that, Brian?
In the process, Seven could learn to take advantage of that poisoning kit that I found.
I was going to say, you could either learn that from her, or if all the Drow are really good at it, you might be able to like shop around and meet someone less murdery about it.
That's true.
Yeah, let's table that.
But I mean, you guys, the gnomes are going to genocide them first. So
yeah,
really,
gnomes don't know that no means gnome, and so like they're just going to keep.
Nope, you used it up
Boo.
already.
Boo.
Close up shop on that one.
I had that one was staring me in the face. That was the last one. I had to do it. So it's interesting. I don't know if Ruben would be interested in this. Just God, I don't know.
What's up? What's up?
Their myths are very intriguing. How they diverge. Like I guess I didn't realize that the Clockwork King was like that aggressive.
Well, I mean that's what a empire do.
Yeah.
All
I guess we
over.
didn't see a lot of. I guess we didn't hang out in the Gnome City enough, so I didn't see enough evidence of pushing out. It was more just like holding up. So that's interesting.
I mean, if you very diplomatically ask Duria about what's going on in the Gnome City, she might be able to fill you in on some of that. But
Sure.
she's not super thrilled on you guys right now.
Let's let her cool her jets.
Yeah,
also,
let's do
she'd
it.
probably be pretty suspicious if we had a conversation and then go back and go, "Hey, how's the Drow?"
I just turn around. Ruben like makes like a no face and like thumbs downs, and he's just like, it's...
I'll do like the crazy like hand gesture with like circle around the temple finger.
Totally crazy. You're also 8 billion feet tall, so everyone sees that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's send some stuff to Ragnar. Collected some good items.
And if you guys want to do quick shopping too, we could do that, or however you want to roll.
Shopping montage.
At the very least, I'd like to see what the shops have for sure.
Yeah.
And also, we might meet less crazy drow down there who deal with other people on the outside. Get maybe a little bit of a medium ground on all these crazy people. Nothing is a great equalizer quite like coin.
Mm-hmm. So, what are you guys going to send to Ragnall, and then we'll move on to that
The sea
next.
snails.
Yeah. Snails.
Actually, we caught fish, right? I didn't.
Yeah, we got
Yes.
some fish.
Snails.
They're lake snails, but yeah.
You want to send the oyster?
It's in the oyster.
But we
Let's
keep the
send
pearl.
fish.
Yeah.
We kept the pearl. That's just in our image.
Good.
Did we already send the cranium rat?
Yeah, we sent that last time.
Then quippers. How many spaces do the quippers take up?
So I said you guys had 4 skewers, 4 harpoons of quippers.
So that's a slot each.
So they're a slot each, and like each harpoon has like 3 or 4 quippers on it.
Okay. Do we have anything? Has all this stuff to the left here? Has this all been sent?
Yeah, it gets sent each night. So every time you take a long rest, the cooler empties.
Okay. Well, I think that's it, right? Snails. We could maybe see if we could buy some of this spider cheese downstairs.
Yeah.
Send it.
We could also learn how to harvest spider cheese.
I like how it's like we don't want to take the time to go storm a depot, but we will take the time to learn how to make spider cheese.
Our goals are not the same goals as the drow or the gnomes.
I'm just saying, it's just very funny to me. It's all.
Once we leave this plane of existence, Crack Sizzle's gonna go peace out on these guys. He does not like the Underdark, despite having got rocket boots.
We also need to get a rocked fact.
Oh, I put a rock fact in today.
Oh, okay.
Locust is a focal point, not a magic flying insect made of stone.
Yeah. That's how. Now we got it. There we go. Just take away a T. How is Seven feeling about because you're a ranger, right?
Yeah.
So you have like a connection to nature, right? Sort of, kind of.
Yeah.
You feeling any of this weird juju that everyone else seems to be feeling on this side of the Underdark?
Well, they're more like druid, and I was also somewhat kind of raised a little bit with like wood elves.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna like say that he's probably heard bad stories about dark elves, and so might have a little bit of bias against them in that way.
Sure, but for all of this like talk of prophets and earth visions, I mean, does that seem legit to you, or does that seem like a load of bullshit?
I'm not really kind of leaning toward either one right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we had only had a choice of 2 of them, I think I'd rather do the depot thing. Go do like I mean, because the Gnome City, they kind of are pretty sort of one.
Yeah, I mean they're a huge like literal machine, and this at least this is an Avatar where they're trying to fight back necessarily. Well, one faction doesn't. The other ones are like, cool, we'll leave, bye.
There was a way we could sabotage all the equipment.
I mean, they do have a giant power grid that is like right in the center of town.
Ooh, we could blow up the pyramid
Now we're talking.
Oh, there we go.
on our way out of town.
Now
Yeah.
we're okay with it.
That's way better than genocide, guys.
And we still have fire salts.
No, but we do have chutzpah, and I believe in
Find
us.
some stuff to blow it up. We can get there. But there's a
Again, really glad Dury is very far away.
Yeah,
you
well,
you just see us do explosion motions with our hands.
let's go do some shopping.
Let's do
and
some
then,
shopping.
call it.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. So Athenia takes you guys down to the lower levels, and
Do the lower levels look exactly like the upper level?
similar, but also different. Let's see.
Mhm. We have a budget.
There's a graphics budget, y'all. There's a graphics budget. Nobody trip. All right. So this time I'm going to copy you all. I'm going to select you all. I'm going to copy you.
If Crack Sizzle stops moving.
And then I'm going to go to the other map.
Oh, we're gonna pull a different layer, huh? Let's see if you Carlos this.
And then I'm gonna paste you in, and then I'm gonna move the party so that you don't come into just blackness.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Ooh,
Oh shit! I do need to see if that parrot video, if that parrot does know an air horn sound, because that will blow my goddamn mind.
All right.
That was aggressive. I liked it.
It was aggressive. So here in the lower levels, Athenia says that there is, some lodging here, some spare lodging that you could sleep in if you wish to stay the night, as well as the little the shop over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these two look like they're common drow, and they have like carts and bags and things piled everywhere. It looks like they spend a lot of time on the road, and they see you all approach, and Athenia kind of approaches them and sort of gives them the spiel of they're okay, you can sell to them, blah blah blah.
I'm guessing, judging by all these reactions, we are the first outsiders that have been here in a long, long time.
It is uncommon. It is very uncommon.
Okay.
And that, the fact that you all are, under escort and all that stuff, it's like, yeah, they're not just going to let anybody wander through here.
Well, it's a good sign, guys. I don't think any of the other teams have made it here.
That's true. That's a good point. There's no way that another team has made it this far.
True.
So, the little shop.
No other imaginary team that's not actually playing this game have made it this far.
That's true.
Yeah, I
know
think
that
that's a
the
fair
humans
assumption.
The dickhole dragons haven't made it.
Yeah, they were just think about that. They're just like scraping along on the beach outside of the city.
Scraping moss.
Yeah, what a bunch of assholes.
I didn't even know that there was so much delicious, nutritious spider milk, so close by.
See, Crexel, this is why racism doesn't pay.
The more you know, and then Crexel makes a rainbow shooting star noise.
And then Ruben takes like some of the gems and the pearl and makes like a little star-like thing through the air.
So, this husband and wife team, they nod at you. The woman, she says, "Welcome, outsiders. It is. I am told that you are guests here in the Drow City.
Indeed.
My husband and I, we travel the roads and we trade with outsiders, and we can accept your money in exchange for the goods that the Drow create. And we are also open to buying some amount of goods, depending on what they are. I am Lenny Strahan, and this is my shop here. My husband Gilnick, we travel together. What I can offer you is I have a selection of potions, as well as some of our special spider silk clothing for sale.
Oh, yeah.
Anything in the capish variety.
Yeah, me too.
And the two of them, despite the fact that they're probably more accustomed to dealing with outsiders, they are understandably hesitant around you all. So at first blush, they only put out a few things for you. So
where's the good stuff?
I compliment them on their fine goods.
Yeah.
Oops.
This is charming. I love it. Is there more?
They exchange a look, and they look at Athenia kind of conspiratorially. But you can roll persuasion if you want to, if you think that there's something you can say to them that might put them at ease.
Persuasion.
Oh.
We kind of browbeat them until they give us more stuff.
Quit beating your head against your own stall. There's another way to do this.
That doesn't sound like persuasion as much as it sounds like strong-arming them.
Bullying.
How do we persuade them?
How would Gwen and Ruben like to persuade them?
Well, Ruben's just taught. I mean, it's obviously pretty simple stuff, but he's like overselling how amazing it is.
Okay.
It's been a very long, dark trail, and it's very rare to find goods quite like this. It makes him feel like he's back home, back in his home dimension.
All right, Gwen, what's your approach? Right.
Say that we're not we're not from your world. It's a very dangerous place out there, and anything that you might have that would help us in helping your people. I don't know if you heard, but we rescued a number of your countrymen.
We're kind of a big deal.
Well, right. Just wanna be as prepared as possible.
Okay.
Anything you can do.
All right. I like those approaches. So for Ruben, they lay out their full collection of spider silk clothing.
Yeah.
So so they have regular clothes made from spider silk as well that can be tailored to your specifications if you wish. But as far as things that would have a game effect, they have a spider mesh shirt that functions as elven chainmail, like an elven chain shirt. And then they also have a spider mail that looks like similar to what Athenia and Bakresu wear. Sure. That it's essentially like medium level armor that has like hardened plates and layers of spider silk that is light. So it's gonna be like 13 AC plus Dex, no max. Which is like an okay medium armor in a light armor slot. Okay. And then they also sell essentially their own take on like cloaks of elven kind. They have one of those available, as well as like kind of blackened camouflage clothes that could give you some bonuses to stealth if you were wearing them in the Underdark. As for Gwen, they mentioned that it is dangerous indeed, and if you will swear that you will be careful and use it responsibly, they are willing to sell you drow poison. And drow poison's pretty good. It's a DC 13 poison that gives you the poisoned effect, which really sucks. It makes you have disadvantage on almost everything.
Yeah.
And if you fail by 5 or more, you get knocked unconscious. So it's pretty rough poison.
Yeah.
So you can buy that for 100 gold for a vial with 5 doses in it. And so they have a cloak of elven kind, essentially, and then they also have a dagger of venom, which is a magic item that essentially is sort of constantly coated in poison. And that would be more those two are more in the realm of 500 600 gold kind of price point.
Oh, that's good
So
shit.
what kind of poisons do we have in our king crate?
I have the arrows that have the phase spider venom.
So that's dagger of venom.
You might like that.
I think
7. That's kind of a fun melee weapon if someone gets too close to you. I don't know.
and I think 7 actually already has a cloak of elvenkind.
Yeah, I have a cloak of elvenkind already.
I think I have a cloak of protection, right? What does it
I
say?
have a book of protection called Blanky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Where does it say armor and stuff? Is that in items?
Yeah, I think you do have cloak of protection, Ribbon.
I do. And that gives me a what is that? A +1 to AC
And saves.
and saves. Okay. And then I'm not wearing armor because rogues can't, right?
No, they can.
They can. I think they just wear light armor.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so you might
the
benefit
spider
from
mail.
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I wonder if it's worth which is worth more. The spider mail armor is cool because it's light, but then there's also just the chainmail shirt, correct?
Yeah. So an elven chain shirt just gives you a flat +1 to AC.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading right here. Yeah.
And basically, acts as though you're not wearing armor at all.
How much is the price next to the spider mail armor? I can't see.
No, I didn't put it up there. That's more of a kind of a bargaining kind of thing. But let me pull up.
Can I stack? Could I wear an elven chain shirt under my half plate? No, I wouldn't get any bonus from that.
You have to stack. That'd be weird.
That's what I assumed.
I mean, it makes sense in logic, but I
Yeah,
think the game mechanic is weird.
Yeah.
All right, and then let me pull up. JC, what are you barking at?
So, what's Ruben's AC?
My AC is currently 16.
I mean, what's your dex modifier?
Dex modifier of 2.
2. Okay.
And what kind of armor is Ruben wearing?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't think I'm wearing any. I have one thing is that as a dragon, I have natural. I think I have a natural AC because of my scales. Dragon hide. You scales hard and you have a base AC of 13 while not wearing armor.
Okay, so this wouldn't be any better for you then.
Okay, it looks cool.
Yeah. So your option then would be to buy some silken clothes that would be light and you wouldn't be suffering as much in the heat, and they're cool, but they're not they don't have special magic properties. They're just
But
cool.
I just look cool. Yeah, that's fine.
You look like you're at an Evanescence concert.
Sure, and it doesn't. I could just be wearing that whenever. It doesn't affect my AC or anything.
Correct.
Okay. And then my AC is basically what? It's my Dex modifier plus just the.
So you have the 13 from your dragon hide, and then you have plus 2 from your Dex.
Mm-hmm. And then the cloak. Okay.
And then the cloak, plus 1 from the cloak.
I wasn't sure. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's the AC that happens when I'm not wearing armor. Got it. All right.
Yeah,
How much is
I'll
the-
get a vial.
Bryant, what's your question?
Sorry, Brian.
I was going to ask how much is the dagger of venom?
So that's 600 gold.
How much was the cloak of Elvenkind?
So
Just because that seems like a cool thing to maybe have in my back pocket.
yeah, so it gives you advantage on stealth, basically.
Yeah.
So it's 200 gold.
Is it so when I tend to see stuff in your guys' list, I just tend to go to Roll20 and look it up. Is that pretty accurate in terms of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, unless we're homebrewing something, in which case I've pasted the stats for it.
Sure.
Right. It's reflected as, but you're already wearing a cloak, and you probably wouldn't pick your cloak of Elvenkind over a cloak of protection, but
Yeah, no, I was
never
thinking
know.
the same thing. Yeah. You also never know what happens when you roll a 1 and the DM just burns shit, and it's just like, well, I don't have a cloak anymore. Fuck.
This is true. All right, well, we should probably wrap this up. I mean, you don't have to make your final decisions now on
Yeah.
shopping.
Was I also correct in assuming they had like normal potions and things?
Yeah, so I posted those first. So
Great.
they have 4 greater healings, and then they have 2 each of resistance, fire, ice, and acid.
Perfect. Okay.
So if you'd like to buy anything, you can put it, take the money from the kitty and put it on. And otherwise, we should wrap it up, guys. Any
Sounds good.
any last questions or anything like that?
No questions, but I'll take one of those cloaks. I'm not currently wearing a cloak.
Do you guys mind if I get that dagger of venom?
Please, by all means.
Yeah, go for
I'll
it.
grab that.
All right. You guys are rich.
Yeah.
It was 600.
So rich.
Yeah, 600.
I'll probably think on those potions and probably get a couple of those next time.
Yeah, well, I threw in the greater healings just because the minor healings are not really cutting it anymore for y'all.
Yeah, the minor healings are shitty.
Yeah.
I was looking at those and I was just like, damn, that doesn't do me. I mean, even as a squishy rogue, like it still is just like inches up, just like an inch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You looking at anything, Sam?
I'm thinking about buying some of those potions, but I'm not. How much are the potions?
They're 100 gold each.
Yeah.
We should buy a couple. Like,
Yeah. I think I'll at least take a greater healing and then I'll probably pick a resistance or 2.
yeah.
I still have a greater healing, 2 healing, just plain healing potions in my. Oh, and I also have a potion of superior healing, actually.
If you wanted to unload your regular healing potions, they would probably take them off your
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah, let's sell those ones.
Swap them out.
Sure.
So yeah, they'll give you 40 gold for your regular healing potions.
All right.
Nice.
So then that gives me. I have 2 of them.
Yeah, 40 each.
40.
So
Each.
80. So we're just putting that in the major treasury.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it to the.
All right, and then Sam, we can probably figure out over the week who wants to get what potion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
no rush,
should
no
be
rush.
I don't think
All
we're gonna
right.
get too much.
We gotta let Sam go to sleep.
Yep.
Yep, sounds good.
Catch you
All
guys
right.
later. Thanks
Thanks,
for
y'all.
this, Mike.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're-
thanks for the session.
And I hope you guys got to have a taste of my style this round, and we'll have Carlos back next week.
So professional. I love.
Dude,
Oh,
less
yeah.
funny voices though. I will
Yeah,
say
less
that.
funny
Carlos is really
voices.
good at monster sounds.
Carlos has like 3 voices though that he tends to like swap around. They're
Yeah, I mean,
great.
I've got my share of bad accents, as Matthew well knows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I'll catch you
All
next
right.
week.
Talk to you guys
Thanks.
later.
Later, guys.
Later.